Initiating moisture.
Yeah, this movie is fucking great. Chances are you don't know anything about Parasite, haven't seen anything from it, unless you've seen people online constantly praising it and jerking off about it. But they're jerking off for a good reason. This movie is magnificent. In essence, the movie is about rich versus poor. You have a less fortunate family and a very fortunate, very wealthy 1% family. And at some point, one of the children from the less fortunate family begins tutoring the daughter of the rich family and begins to brew a scheme to exploit them. The first half of the movie is spent setting up the difference between the two classes. They use a lot of humor during this period, and the humor for the most part lands. Some jokes fall flat, it could be a translation thing, but for the most part the humor's on point. They immediately show you what it's like being on the bottom of the food chain. They have them, trying to steal Wi-Fi from upstairs. There's a fumigation crew going around. They keep the windows open so the fucking chemicals blow in while they're folding pizza boxes, so that way they get free fumigation. They are not doing well. They're just struggling to get by. There's drunk people pissing on their property, damn near using the drunk man's urine as a shower to save money on water. It is not a good living situation, but at some point, the son gets a break and gets to tutor a rich family for pay. When you see the rich family, it's totally different. It's beautiful. It's an incredible landscape, and quite literally, the difference in their social status is shown just in the altitude of where they live. The less fortunate family lives in a basement. The rich family lives in a hilltop mansion. And this changes their perspective on things drastically. For example, a biblical rainstorm blows in, one that would make Moses wet his pants in fear, comes in, and the rich family just views it as just a beautiful thing put there for their own entertainment. This storm is a blessing, they say in the movie. It looks great through their windows. Their son goes out camping in it because to them, it's no big deal. It's just a cute little storm. But to the less fortunate family, that shit is disaster because it floods their home, their basement. It gets ruined. Sewage spraying everywhere. The fucking toilets overflowing, spewing shit out like some type of volcanic eruption of ass feces. It's very different. And they do a great job of showing you all of these things. There's so much attention to detail and so many great shots to establish these things. Even just something as simple as going from the rich house to their own place. The difference in the journey. They have to go down like fucking 50 flights of stairs, like it's a reverse Rocky montage, going from the top of the food chain back down to the basement. It's just a really cleverly made movie that does a great job of bringing you into the universe and making you care about the characters. And they don't set up the rich families like some evil, cartoonishly mustache-twirling evil villains, spitting on the poor. Get away from me. Oh, I must wash my hands now because it was near poverty. Oh my goodness. I won't shit right for a week. I'll have to have two maidens wipe my ass. They don't do that. They actually have you care about that family as well. But it shows you the difference, even in the unintentional elitism. It is just so well crafted. I can't gush about this movie enough. The acting is on point as well. It's so good. I really, really cared about pretty much every character, and their performances were super fucking solid. What I imagine the biggest turnoff will be for this movie is it's entirely subtitles. Unless you speak the language, you're going to be reading subtitles the entire movie. So if you're unaccustomed to that, like if you don't watch anime, if you haven't opened your third eye and started anime yet, you're not going to be used to reading subtitles in a movie, I imagine. And for a lot of people, that's probably a turnoff. But I definitely think it's worth it, even if this is your first time reading subtitles in a movie, going in a subtitle virgin, the subs crew coming in. It's definitely worth it. This movie, it has such a clever story to tell. Its humor is great. And at the second half of the movie, there's a tonal shift, a huge turning point where it gets very dark and very serious, very real. And I didn't expect it, and it was so great. It's just this whole movie is really, really good. Plugging Parasite into the moist meter, I'm giving it a 95%. For me, it's tied for my favorite movie of the year, tied with Joker. I really can't decide which I like more. They're both great movies. Parasite, though, is something entirely unique that I haven't seen before. I'm unfamiliar with the work of Bong Joon-ho, the director of this piece. The only film I've seen from him is Snowpiercer, which I liked, but he has a whole catalog of bangers, which I'm probably going to go revisit or go visit for the first time after seeing this, because this was just such an incredible display of talent just across the board. writing, cinematography, just everything. It nails it. It is a great movie that I can't recommend enough. That's it. See ya.
Initiating moisture.
Let me go ahead and start this moist meter by confessing a sin. I don't like the Borderlands series. I wasn't a fan of 1 and 2, and I didn't play Tales from the Borderlands, though I caught up on the lore just for this game. That being said, Borderlands 3 is pretty fucking good. Now, when I say I don't like the Borderlands series, it's not for lack of getting into it. I beat those games extensively. I beat the shit out of them, up and down, top to bottom. I fucked it in the ass and beat the DLCs as well. I put a lot of hours into the game, but it wasn't because I enjoyed the journey or the game as a whole. It was kind of Stockholm Syndrome and the only game out at the time that my friends and I could casually play together. And I'm happy to say that element's still here. It's still great to play with friends, and I see everyone talk about that when it comes to Borderlands. Oh, it's so fucking fun with your friends. It's so much better with friends. Yeah, they're not wrong. It is. And you know what else is? Literally anything else in the world. Anything is better if you have a group of friends together. If you have a good group, you could watch fucking dog shit get rained on in your backyard and have fun together. You could make even playing the most boring game fun, like 2009 Football Manager Turbo Arcade Edition could be fun if you have a good group of friends playing it. That's not exactly a selling point to a game in my opinion, saying it's fun with friends, because everything is. The game still needs to be fun on its own, which Borderlands 3 is. It's a very well-made game, top to bottom. The gunplay is satisfying, rewarding, the build diversity is fun, the gun diversity is nice. I think it's a lot better than previous entries where most of the guns just felt like carbon copies with only arbitrary differences between them. Just super trivial shit where there'll be one extra bullet in this gun and also 1 point difference between this and the model you just dropped for it. Whereas in Borderlands 3, shit at least feels pretty impactful. It feels much different than what you just traded for. That's another thing. You're gonna be swapping weapons out like a fucking madman, like going trick-or-treating here with weapons. You're just gonna be having so much shit come in. You'll be having to get rid of shit to make room for new shit, which is nice. It keeps the experience constantly fresh. I think the abilities are a lot more fun this time around. I found myself enjoying that. And I also think the game's environments are much better designed. I think it's a lot prettier than the previous games, only via artistic choices. The game looks exactly the same as Borderlands 2. If you put these side by side, you would not know they weren't the same game. And that's not exactly a complaint, that's just the aesthetic of the game. It's not going to matter how much graphics evolved because this shit's staying cel shaded and it's going to look pretty much the same. That's its design choice, and I'm fine with that, because they made some really nice art choices with a lot of the different places you visit. You visit other worlds, you go to a lot of different things that constantly change the tone of your environment, and I think they all work extremely well. I really enjoyed visiting all of the new locations, and I had a lot of fun exploring through them as well. I also think their enemy design this time around, the character design, the new characters, new enemies they introduce, is incredible. Much better than previous games, and it's just a general high point of this game for me. I enjoyed all of the boss fights for the most part, though they weren't mechanically difficult. I at least thought that it was fun enough with how the character looked and how they fought to make it a memorable boss fight. I also really liked Gigamind. I think he was really fucking cool. That being said, these are most of the compliments I have for the game. Everything else is about to be a negative, so go ahead, Gearbox fans, and grab your dick hard, because I'm coming in a little raw with what I'm about to say. The writing is insufferable for me. I cannot stand the humor in the Borderlands series, and this game is no exception. Characters drone on and on and on, and every sentence is supposed to be a zany, wacky joke, but it just almost never works. There's a couple of good lines throughout the game, but obviously there's going to be, when the script is like 70,000 words and it's all jokes, a couple of them are gonna land, so it's good that they at least had a couple, but for the most part, this shit is stinkers. The jokes don't work. I really found it super grating, especially characters like Ava. Oh my lord, it's just... It was insufferable when you had to just sit through dialogue, and if you're just going to beeline the story, that's going to be a lot of dialogue you're sitting through. That's another complaint. The game feels like it wants to be more fast-paced than it's allowing you to be. If you're playing the story missions and you're just going through the story, you're going to be fucking nuts to butts, going hard as shit in all of the fights, jumping, sliding, using all your abilities, chaos everywhere. You'll finish a room and then you have to wait a minute, 2 minutes for a character to finish monologuing with his jokes and explaining the exposition, and then slowly walking up to a door to open it so that we can go to the next room, wipe all the enemies, which is fun, and then you wait another 2 minutes for that character to just very slowly walk his fucking ass cheeks all the way over to the other side side of the room and open the next door for you, as he's talking and making bad jokes the whole way. Oh my god, it made me so upset, because you get in this rhythm where you're playing so fast and you're having a lot of fun, and then it comes to a screeching halt where you get just nothing but slow-moving NPCs that have to come hold your goddamn hand like a lost toddler in a grocery store to lead you to the next corridor for you to blast enemies' shit off. It was frustrating. Now, that problem doesn't exist in most of the side quests that I played through, and I had a lot more fun with the side quests than the main ones. Another thing, the narrative isn't good. The new villains, the twins, they suck. They're bad villains. Most of the characters in the game I think are bad, but that's just because the writing and the humor is so bad. But these villains are another step up. They're just not good at all. And talking about the humor being really more misses than hits, obviously that's subjective. I can see a lot of people, you know, enjoying when they say amazeballs 10 times, but for me, hearing epic amazeballs 10 times makes me want to lay my ears down on a belt sander. It's an assault on the senses with some of these characters and what they say. Like I said, there are a few decent lines and a few decent moments, but overall it just wasn't for me. I get it if you like it, I understand, just totally not for me. And the good thing about the game is you don't need to understand at all what's going on narratively. You can ignore all of the characters and just enjoy the fun gameplay. And the gameplay is, no doubt, very fun when you get to play it the way you want to play it. Driving is still not good. I don't think Borderlands will ever get driving to a state where it's fun to go from point A to point B. Here's no exception. That's still a chore. That's no fun at all. But unfortunately, what's most insulting about it is you can't skip any of the dialogue or any of the fucking cutscenes. There's no way to speed it up. They're so proud of their jokes and their narrative plot line here that they make you sit through every excruciating second of wacky voices and stupid fucking phrases. So, I hope you're ready to strap in for that, or you develop a way to tolerate it, or maybe you're just already predisposed to enjoy it. I don't really know. It's just too much. Even if you like it, I can't imagine you liking it the whole time, because at no point does it ever let off the gas. It is always making shit jokes. It makes me so upset. If I could skip the cutscenes or blast through some of the dialogue, oh man, this game would be so much more positive for me. And I do like the game still, all this considered, but man, this game would be so much better for me. And I played it through mostly with Jackson. Jackson has the same complaint. We'd often sigh in unison when a cutscene started, and you got this cool looking villain in front of you, and then they give you this stupid fucking line about them underneath their name. If you're familiar with the series, you know what I'm talking about. They have something about the character, just 1 or 2 lines, and it says some garbage shit like, "Sick burn, bro," which was exactly verbatim one of them for one of the villains that came up. It's just hard not to roll your eyes at it when it just doesn't stop. And the last major complaint I have also ties into this as well. It's the quest design. The quests make you fucking experience so much of this garbage long dialogue that's so tedious. The quests, at least the mainline quests, can sometimes be such chores. There's a quest where you walk from one side of the ship to the other side of the ship to talk to somebody, you walk back to the other side of the ship to talk to that person again, then you walk from that person to the middle of the ship to talk to someone, you talk to that person, run back to the person at the front of the ship to talk to that person, then you talk to that person again, go to the back of the ship. It's just this back and forth fucking awful thing that makes the RuneScape a small favor quest look absolutely beautiful in comparison. It is miserable. I hated a lot of the quests. Some of them, make no mistake, were very good and very fun, but man, there were some real stinkers that made me just want to stop playing and go take a break or do something else, anything else, except listen to that goddamn dialogue and walk back and forth listening to more of it. But overall, I'd say Borderlands 3 has been a fun game that I have been enjoying. So plugging Borderlands 3 into the moist meter, I'm giving it a nice 80%. I think there's a lot to offer in the game. Obviously, the billion weapons shit is really fun. It's never not satisfying to kill a boss and then he just explodes in this bukkake of colors that have all kinds of weapons, class mods, grenades. It's just a lot of fun. And there's a lot of different and really cool perks and stuff that go on different shit. And I just really find there to be a lot offered by Borderlands 3. So that's about it. See ya.
What's up everybody, it's Critical. I'm playing Toho 10. Let's do this shit. Oh, I'm playing Lunatic difficulty. Ain't no time for shitting. What is this? Oh, this is a conundrum, but I'll choose her. I can't read Alien, but I'll choose the top one. Now, I know the controls, so Asses will be spanked. Let's do it. Here we go. A fucking flawless start. That is incredible. Oh, they're trying to get me from the flank. Oh, I'm just dancing with them. Taking them to the ballroom for the waltz. Fucking welcome to the Space Jam. I got Little Red Riding Hood firing on all cylinders, wheeling and dealing. Oh, this is remarkable. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. They've got me in between a rock and a hard place. Dodge. Ah, shit. Do not panic. We still have a powerful ally on our side. My wiener. Oh, fuck. Dodge. I gotta dodge it. Dodge. Yes. Shit. Went headstrong right into that laser beam. I'm using the bombs now. There's no holds barred. What the fuck? So this is what the asshole looks like just before a fart. Dodging. Fuck. Shit. Vengeance will be swift and severe. Fuck, I'm out of bombs. Resorting to evasive abilities. You cannot scratch that which wears a medieval suit of armor. Look at these dodges. Fuck. They're squirting diarrhea at me. Oh, I dodged it. Oh, shit. Alright, here we go. This is... Fuck! Alright, I got it now. Not even the mightiest of caterpillars could stand up to a rhinoceros. And you are not the rhinoceros in this scenario. Yes! Oh, what the fuck? It's stopping me from shooting. Let me shoot. Oh, there we go. Must have been a cutscene before a boss battle. I'm not afraid of this boss, though. I got bombs on my side. You can't handle this shit. Call 1-800 can't handle this shit. Fuck, I'm out of bombs. And she's tossing balloons at me. And I'll just dodge everything. It's not an issue. Son of a bitch. My dick is hard. My nipples are too. Go ahead, put your titties in my shoe. Got 2 hands. Both hands have fingers. When I take a shit, the smell lingers. My shit may not always make it to the toilet. I'll put it in a pan on the stove and boil it. That's right, eat my shit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A low-calorie diet. Bitch, it'll make you thinner. Fuck! I was kicking ass there for a while. It's alright, I should still be able to pose a threat to a house made out of Legos. Fuck, I had to waste a bomb. The age-old bait and switch. Flawlessly executed, son of a bitch. That's gonna take its toll in the boss battle. She's launching knotted pubic hairs at me, but I'm fighting back with plasma anus rings. Shit, I'm out of bombs. Gotta dodge. Son of a bitch. The glass is half full. I got the bombs back. Here we go. This is more bang for your buck. This is taking the cake and fucking it too. Go fuck yourself, bonus failed. I don't give a shit about the bonus. I'm out of bombs. Oh, what the fuck is this? She just activated Swords of Revealing Light. I'm actually dodging it though. Fuck. This is a pound of ass baloney. How am I supposed to dodge all of that shit? That's fucking ridiculous. I'm not giving up. Nice dodging. Here we go. Back to the boss battle. Back to the home of the house. You see, because a house is a home. So when you enter a house, you're in someone else's home. That's quantum physics 101, bitch. Detonating explosives. I've got her back against the wall now. Shit. I used the bomb too far away, but I guess it really didn't matter. Fuck! She just slapped me with a sword dance. Will a nice bomb tickle your fancy? Say hello to Mitt Bomney. Is your favorite cartoon Bomb and Jerry? Yes. Bonus failed. Splendid. I wouldn't want it any other way. Alright, what do we got here? What is this? Oh shit! Fuck. Alright, I better get to start right from this change in scenery. I better not have to go through all that shit again. Thank goodness. My word, if I was forced to go through all that asshole shit again, I probably would have sent myself a text message encouraging myself to try again until I complete it. This is actually a lot easier than the last part because I start with full power-ups. You know, it's really fucking awesome how I can just finish stating how it's significantly easier because of the full power-ups, and now I'm just getting bombarded by battleship depth charges. Fuck it. I'll play their own game. I'll drop bombs on this bitch. Oh, fuck. Son of a bitch. That's it. That's it. I know your scheme, and I know how to counter it. Damn it. Fuck, more bombs. Here you go. I don't know what's shooting me or where from, but these bombs have a blast radius of a big fucking blast radius, so I'm not too worried about it. Oh, you think you can hit me with those streams of piss? That's not gonna touch me. No, sir, no piss is gonna touch my shit. The enemy is deploying rice. Attempting to dodge rice. So far, so good. Oh, shit! That's the last straw. I'm like a fucking dodging machine. Damn it! Alright, you know what? You want to play dirty? Bombs. Bombs are dirty. Bombs will scuff up your shoes. Bonus failed. What the fuck does it take to get the bonus? What do you have to do? Do you have to fucking defeat the boss with your titties hog-tied to your hands? I've got this under control now. I'm dodging all of these fucking weird attacks. Oh yeah, this is too easy now. This is... Shit! Pardon the sniffles. My nose is runny. Shit, I have to use a bomb. That was a close call, but it is alright. What the fuck is this? It's like an eagle is flapping its wings, but like shooting 50 caliber rounds while doing it. Just wasted all my bombs on it, and it wasn't even the boss. Alright. Shit, I missed one of the power-ups. Who the fuck is this? Is that Sailor Moon? Is that who I'm fighting? What is this? Oh wow, this is fucking awesome. Hurling go-karts and slot machines at me. There we go, up close and personal. You're not too effective without throwing train cars at me, are you? Oh, you can blow that bonus out your shitter. How are you supposed to dodge that? I didn't have any bombs to deploy, so I couldn't counter it. But how are you supposed to dodge that? That's impossible. Alright, I'm done playing this. Well, that's the end of this video. Remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. See ya.
AI ads. It's something I've talked about a little bit. A couple months ago, even made a video on the AI dog ads that everyone was getting served. We ended up ordering a couple. Of course, didn't resemble anything even close to what the ads were claiming, because obviously it was never going to. The ads were fake. And unsurprisingly, the problem has only gotten worse. I am now inundated with AI ads, and it's been basically sweeping through like a plague. AI ads are the new wave, usually to sell products that are just drop-shipped AliExpress garbage, but they use AI ads to try and sell the consumer on a fantasy that just isn't real. A big one going on right now is Pandy. That's become like the new AI dog. It's an AI plush panda, a pocket panda basically. There's a YouTuber who just made a video covering the whole thing. I'll just go ahead and play a couple clips from that. But this isn't the main one I want to focus on. This is just another example of it.
You know the one. Looks like a cute little panda moving like a real animal, but it's actually a robot. So you don't have to feed it, clean up after it, or worry about it. And hey, if it's on Facebook and YouTube, it must be legit, right? The photos of the toy look different from the one in the ad. Scroll further, and they have celebrity posts from Twitter, but they're just static images, no links to actual accounts. And if you reverse image search them, surprise, they show up on other scammy toy websites selling the exact same thing under different names. Advanced AI Plush for $29.99, and if you take one of the more realistic images and run it through an image search, you can find the exact same plush on AliExpress for anywhere from $1 to $10.
This is the new big scam. This is the hotness, the meta. They take a very cheap dog shit product from AliExpress or wherever else, and then they make an AI commercial for it, where it has all of this footage that obviously isn't real and the toy doesn't actually do, but it's convincing enough to some people that aren't paying them enough attention or just don't know AI commercials exist. These have been very effective, pretty successful from everything I've been able to tell. Because just imagine, you're like in your late 60s, you're scrolling Facebook, reading about 5G blasting your nutsack with alien juices, but then all of a sudden the Pandy ad plays, and you're like, oh, that's cute, maybe my grandkids would like it. And then they make a purchase, and then what shows up is basically the shit that you get at the kiosks in the mall in the late 90s. It's nothing impressive, but it's very smart, deceptive marketing tactics, and they are everywhere. It doesn't seem like there's like a real vetting process for the advertisements that play on most major websites, so they are getting swarmed by AI ads right now. And the one that Matt just put on my radar is one called Baker's Semen Booster or something like that. Semen X, fucking Weapon X of semen enhancement. And their big marketing push right now is AI-generated ads for it. Also, there's like 5 different websites that get tied to it somehow. I've been all over the place. And when Matt told me about it today and showed me one of the ads, I came home and immediately got served one as well. So, like, I must have been listening. Fucking Baker's, they've tapped into the mainframe here. But yeah, it's a pill that improves your seed volume as well as a flavor booster. So they cooked up the Manhattan Project of Nut, and they're making AI pushes. Let me go ahead and show you one. Apparently this is the one that's been running all over Reddit.
Bakers.
Ad so good I ordered 12 bottles. I was losing money not spending it on Baker's Semen Booster. It's just such a baffling ad. So it's AI women here, as well as an AI voiceover that just says, Baker's, and then like some moaning. But like the sound effects that they have playing, which I guess are supposed to be like dripping sperm, it just sounds like piss. Like it's just actual pee-pee droplets. It like that's not like that doesn't you don't hear that sound and immediately think of like semen. You hear that and you think someone is taking a leak. But maybe that's the whole thing. Like you order Baker's and it turns your semen into piss. Like Jesus turning water to wine. This right here is the ad that's playing on a bunch of YouTube videos. It's Good, Better, Baker's. And it's an AI image of a woman who's wearing more and more pearl necklaces as it approaches Baker. And then you go to one of their websites, and it's a bunch of mumbo-jumbo on here, and then towards the bottom they start once again leaning on AI to generate images and then just slap Bakers on top of it. So it's very clear that their whole marketing is just using AI to somehow deceive people into buying the semen and flavor booster for their nut. Then on another one of their sites, it's all more AI images, but this time it's all baking and frosting related, which is a very subtle wink and nod to the consumer. This section actually had me giggle right here, though, the Baker's flavor boost. It then goes in about, like, pineapple juice and how, like, the Baker's formula adds pineapple stem extract to enhance your flavor. It's just so shameless. It's so unbelievably shameless. All their Amazon listings are also super suspicious. There's no reviews on any of them, and all of them also have AI-generated images. So this, like, entire section is nothing but images like this. Now, I have no idea what's actually in these pills. It could be anything. You could be buying fucking plutonium tablets or something. I have no idea. This shit could be raw crude oil in there. I don't know. All I know is that whatever is in there, I can promise you, the AI ads are not convincing me it's something worth purchasing. If I see an AI advertisement for a product, the immediate assumption, and it is the correct assumption to make, is that the product is fraudulent, it is a scam, and it is somewhat dangerous. It's gotta be. Because why else would you be making fake advertisements for it? We're seeing this becoming more and more common. It's been big with toys, like with the AI dog and the panda and stuff, and I think the reason is obvious because it targets a very huge market, which is kids, as well as parents that are maybe shopping for their kids. So if this floats across there, they're likely to see this and be like, wow, that's really impressive and it's really cheap for that kind of tech. I'll buy it. Meanwhile, what they're actually buying is like a $1 Alibaba drop-shipped piece of garbage. It's very, very effective. And now it's not just exclusive to toys. Now it's infiltrated supplements and things trying to parade themselves around as health, supplements and benefits, that kind of thing, using fake people, fake advertisement, all AI generated in order to try and sell you on it being something that you should buy for your own health. It is very concerning, this direction that it's all heading. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna be real brave. I think AI marketing should be illegal. I think it is deceptive and fraudulent by its very nature because it's not real. If your product can do all the things your AI ad is claiming, it shouldn't need AI to show it doing those things. It should be able to do them in the real world, real life, and you should be able to put that in your ad, the real thing, not some AI rendition of it. As with the dog, as with the panda, the actual product you buy does not do any of those things that the ad is showing it doing. Thus, it is, by its textbook definition, a misleading ad. It is scamming you. I really think there needs to be a crackdown on AI advertising. It's a very concerning direction that all of this is heading. So like with this Baker's Turbo Wumbo Volume Booster and Flavor Enhancer, like having AI ads to show you these things is so weird. It's just so fucking peculiar. Again, it makes me not trust it. I don't know anything about this brand or anything. I think it's weird that they have multiple different websites, all in slightly different variations, but all of which use AI on there. I think that's very odd, and I think them using AI to try and sell you on it should be something that raises big red flags as like this not being a trustworthy brand. Anyway, just wanted to yap about this a little bit. That's it. See ya.
What's up, everybody? It's Critical. I'm playing Species for the PC. Let's do this shit. I have no idea what any of this is. Wait, breeding. I know what breeding is. Let's turn that up to the maximum. I want the horniest creatures possible. High mutation rate so they can transform into sex incarnate. Alright, let's generate. Oh fuck, we're coming in hot. Passengers, fasten your safety belts. It's about to get bumpy. I hope you all packed for a long trip to the grave! That was a deceptively smooth landing. Nice and soft. Are these floating green teeth? Or like a partially unzipped zipper? Well, this is a rather large piece of shit. What's it doing here? Is this indigenous to the area? Oh fuck, it's out for blood! That's sentient. And mobile. And lethal. I've got my eyes on you, assassin. Let's get some information on this bitch. I guess that about sums it up. It is rather self-explanatory. It's a giant wiggling hunk of shit. Now here's another one. They're everywhere. Oh fuck! It's reproducing at an alarming rate! It didn't even fuck anything! It's reproducing asexually. If giant squirming logs of shit can't find true love, what hope have we? These bitches are everywhere. They have invaded this planet, taken it over. Why is there a raw hamburger patty over here? Oh shit, that's a decomposing carcass of one of the shits! Mutiny, they're turning on one another. It's pandemonium. This is a cactus. Are these bullet holes? Or is it a face? I can't really tell because it's following me around, not letting me look at it. Fine, I'll give you some space. Surprise! Ah, shit. Go fuck yourself, you giant cowboy hat. I'll go back to my scientific research. I'm gonna shoot this bitch with a radiation gun, see how it reacts. Perhaps it'll undergo a sudden gravitational collapse and create a supernova. Did it just fucking give birth while being doused in radiation? To a speeding mushroom? This is preposterous. You are foul. There's only one way to reclaim our planet. A mass genocide of these filthy creatures. It's the only option. They've brought it on themselves. This may look like a field of raw steak, but make no mistake, this is simply wiggle shit corpses. I didn't even make a dent in their numbers. I must continue the battle. I will fight for our planet. Ambush! Yes, it worked perfectly. I caught him off guard. You will be murdered thoroughly, just to be safe. This is how it all ends. This is it. I always knew if our world was going to succumb to evil or be conquered, it would be by the hands of a substance we create. A substance once synonymous with safety and happiness. Our excrement. What the fuck has happened? What type of bizarre metamorphosis is this? The shit has fused with piss. They are now a piss-shit hybrid of sentient fuck. Some of them even have legs. Look at this, this abomination has the face of a marshmallow. They're becoming more human. Soon they'll have titties and nipples, and we won't be able to distinguish humans from these lemon shits. What are you? Tell me what you are. Oh, don't you dare walk away. I will slap you with this shit. Why can't I attack him? There we go. That's your own fault. Do you want to suffer the same fate as that drowsy lobster? Tell me what you are and where you come from. It looks like that engineer space shuttle from the movie Prometheus. Case closed. Thank you for your cooperation. What the fuck is this? It's like a giant walking abacus. It looks like somebody glued dildos to the body of a sea creature. Why did it just stop moving? It was hauling ass a second. Oh shit! It gave birth. This one's got teeth on its face. Interesting. Oh fuck, Stampede! Oh shit. Looks like there's about to be a fight. A brawl, a showdown. Let's see who's gonna win this encounter. Newton's Cradle or the purple lizard just looking for a hug? Come on, fight. Fight each other, what are you doing? Oh fuck, don't run away. Damn it. This is a weird fucking spider. It's got some really fucked up shoes and a really fucked up place to have feet. Fuck, the flood have shown up. And there's a squid on the land. What is that doing on the land? There is a ton of fucking creatures here. And there's even more over here. Our planet is lost. I cannot fight them all. Alright, well I'm done playing this. Well, that's the end of this video. Remember to rate the video, comment the video, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one. See ya.
Dave Baszucki. You know him as the CEO of Roblox. I know him as a weird urinal cake I can't help but pee on from time to time because everything that he has done as CEO is just so odd. He is the guy that has been fighting tooth and nail, making it what seems to be his life's mission to bring dating to Roblox, having a entire section of the Roblox business model carved out for dating. And initially it was supposed to be for 17-plus-year-olds. Dave, that's underage, which was a lesson he refused to learn. He had to eventually be dragged kicking and screaming into reality that 17-year-olds are minors. And despite everyone on the planet telling him how weird it was that he wanted adult content accessible to 17 plus instead of locking it behind 18 plus, which he was adamant about, he refused to budge an inch on that. He was just lat spreading, just saying no, until eventually, I guess, someone was able to break through his noodle up there to, you know, get the message through his thick skull. But everyone has also been saying how weird it is just conceptually to try and add adult content on Roblox to begin with. It is a platform used predominantly by children. Why do you want a dating service element of it? Why do you want adult content to even have a home on Roblox to begin with? Especially considering the reputation of Roblox as like a safe haven for predators at this point, where there are just so many issues with the way Roblox handles their predator problem. It's just a recipe for disaster, and everything Dave has done as CEO of Roblox is just fucking odd to me. And I think he himself is just creepy. I just watched a brand new interview with him that just kind of goes tits up here. He's unhinged. Like, he is actually off his gourd in the interview. I can't show you any clips from it, and just as set expectations if you do watch it, which I recommend you do because it's fascinating. He's not like blowing a gasket or having a conniption, but he is like combative, defensive, and it seems like very upset about the interview, even though, according to this, Roblox was the one that pitched them on interviewing Dave Baszucki about child safety. Like, they didn't ambush him or anything, yet during the interview, it seems like he was fucking caught between a rock and a hard place. He was deer in the headlights for a lot of the questions they were asking. I don't know what he was expecting. Maybe he thought he'd go into the interview and both of them would be on their hands and knees just sucking his dick and fondling his balls, putting a finger in his ass for the G-spot tickling. Like, I don't know why he would be getting so mad when they were even the ones that were pushing for this interview in the first place. It's shocking. Let's take a peek at this moment here, which is transcribed. It's from the interview. It's probably the most heated moment from the interview. The interviewer is talking about manual safety versus an automated review process. And Dave Baszucki has a full-blown temper tantrum here. He gets red in the face, and then he starts trying to like talk over the interviewer who is trying to give his perspective. So he answers the question initially about like how he'd actually lean in harder, the shift would be constantly moving to higher quality, more accurate, more diligent systems. Can we review more? Can we do better? And then eventually just says, let's say we figure it out and the way to do that is with better and better AI models. Would you pick that? The interviewer says, yeah. And Dave Bazooki says, good, so you're aligning with what we did. High five. The interviewer then tries to give more to his perspective on things, saying, but I've also been covering social networks, and Dave Bazooki chimes in instantly to try and shut it down by talking over him, saying, thank you for supporting our Roblox decision matrix. Again, the interviewer tries to squeak out more thoughts. Dave Bazooki is not having that. He is going to try and absorb all of the fucking air in this room to try and bury the interviewer's topic. He tries again, but I also remember 15 years ago when, and here's Dave Bazooki with the fucking sledgehammer from the top turnbuckle. He interrupts, I'm so glad you guys are aligned with the way we run Roblox. High five. This is literally the behavior of a child putting his fingers in his ear going, la 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 la, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. That is what Dave Bazooki is doing here. And once again, the interviewer tries again. Right, I also remember 15 years ago when Mark Zuckerberg was saying, and then Dave Bazooki, once again with the fucking RKO, is this a stealth interview where actually you love everything we're doing and you're here to stealthily support it? Watching this segment of the interview was extraordinarily uncomfortable. It was so awkward. It had me kind of squirming in my seat a little bit, listening to this imbecile start to get combative here and try and bully the interviewer into submission to try and like force camaraderie or something. Oh, so like high five, you support us. Hi, stop, shut the fuck up. High five, you support us. You like stealthily love everything we're doing, am I right? Fist bump, put her here. You want me to sign you up for the Roblox dating service? I know. Alright, I'll give you an account. It's fucking weird. This guy sucks. He is so creepy. And if you want further evidence of that, just look at the way that the interview starts. Dave Bazooki immediately just kind of goes mask off here when asked what he thinks about the problem of predators on Roblox. His response was, we think of it not necessarily just as a problem, but an opportunity as well. How do we allow young people to build, communicate, and hang out together? How do we build the future of communication at the same time? You couldn't script a worse answer. When asked about his perspective on the predator problem with his platform, he said he doesn't view it just as a problem, but an opportunity. What? Pardon? Say that again for the people in the back on the bleachers. What did you just say about the predators preying on children on your platform? You view it as an opportunity? What a remarkably stupid thing to say, but maybe he's being very honest. I have always got the impression, and many others, that Roblox doesn't take the predator problem very seriously. There has been nothing in Roblox's history that leads me to believe that they do as much as they possibly can to keep children safe on that platform. So maybe this is Dave Bazooki just going full goatsy here and letting us take a peek at the foul insides. That he just doesn't really care that much, and really, it's not just a problem to him, but a real opportunity. I think, and this is being very charitable, but I think, based on the way he continued in the interview right after that, what he was trying to get at is that he's viewing this as a big conundrum that they're trying to solve of how do you grow all of these tools with one of the biggest platforms on the planet while also trying to like moderate it. So then he was going into like the state-of-the-art tools they're working on, like the age estimation features and the AI moderation tools and stuff like that. So it seems like he's trying to say like he's viewing it as an opportunity to grow their safety measures, kind of. I'm kind of making a big, generous leap based on how he was saying things, but the way he paints it as like an opportunity is crazy to me, because this is a huge issue that has been festering in his platform for many, many years, with who knows how many countless victims, how many countless children have been preyed upon by predators on his platform, and they have just simply not done enough to keep them safe, and even at times actively made it harder for those predators to be held accountable. And instead of like recognizing just how big of a problem that is and how bad it's gotten, he instead says that it's not just necessarily a problem, but an opportunity. That is so fucking tone deaf and just a really weird sentiment to even try and be expressing here when asked that question. And the interviewers do continue to talk about this subject, and it really seems like Dave Bazooki was completely caught off guard with his fucking pants down here. So the interviewer goes on, yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of kids leaving the platform, and it does become clear in those lawsuits that Roblox is kind of, you know, where predators go to find kids, but then they do try to, and Bazooki once again cuts in. Well, I would say in the lawsuit or press, yes, I would categorically reject the actual description of what you're saying, but yes, what you might read in the news would portray it in that way, but then the interviewer interjects, you don't think you have a problem with predators on the platform? To which Bazooki says,
I think we're doing an incredible job at innovating relative to the number of people on our platform and the hours and really leaning into the future of how this is going to work. Now, I get being the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar corporation, he can't just go out in there and say, yep, tons of pedophiles, predators running rampant on the streets of Roblox. I know, it's gotten bad, but don't worry, we're doing our best to put out the fires. I know he can't just say that up front, but he's just kind of like outright denying the existence of how big this problem is. And if I was a parent of a child who played Roblox and I saw this interview, I am deleting their account this same afternoon. Like, this is a CEO that I have no faith in keeping children safe on the platform from these bad actors that are preying upon them on Roblox. This interview, like, it is such a disaster. I don't know how he or anyone on the Roblox team thought that this would be a good idea for them if he is this unprepared to handle real questions about a very legitimate problem with his platform. And what's crazy is he is just like comically delusional and creepy and scummy. Like, not even just in the way he handles the questions about child safety on the platform, but one of the hosts here asked him a joke question about should there be a poly market for kids inside of Roblox, which is clearly in jest. Would you ever put a prediction market inside Roblox, like let kids bet with their Robux and say, I bet he's gonna steal a tung sahur? I know I've reached unk status at 31 years old. I have no fucking idea what that means. And then the other host chimes in, or I bet he's not gonna dress to impress. And Bazooki, upon hearing what is clearly to most sane people a joke of a question, actually talks about why he thinks that's a very good idea. I think we would have to do that once again. I'll share some of the complexity. Every single country in the world has different legislation around loot boxes and kid gambling, and so we would have to be, it sounds very fun and obvious, like I love that. That is his perspective on kid gambling, by the way. It sounds very fun and obvious. And then the interviewer chimes in saying, oh, to be clear, I think this is a horrible idea. And then there's laughter. I was just interested if you were thinking about it. And Bazooki says, well, I actually think it's a brilliant idea if it can be done in an educational way that's legal. And so imagine no free Robux, no free prizes, just a game called the Dress to Impress Predictor, where it's not like trying to get kids money or anything like that. I would be a big fan of it. And then the interviewer's interesting. Yes, start them young. That's what I always say when it comes to gambling. You're never too young. This slimy worm is unironically actually trying to preach the pros of enabling kid gambling on Roblox. He's trying to say, well, no free Robux, no free prizes or anything, but what if it's educational? Educational gambling, of course, Dave Bazooki. How did I not think about that with educational gambling on Roblox? Absolutely, yeah, that won't open the door to anything bad. Oh my goodness, yeah, of course. It makes so much sense, David. He doesn't even try and, like, spruce it up a little bit, clean it up, tidy up the rough edges there of, like, children gambling. He himself literally says the word kid gambling. So he is just fully open, like, yeah, kid gambling, like, maybe that is a brilliant idea we should consider. Like, he's not even trying to, like, skirt around the loopholes like mystery boxes of Labubu or something like that, or like a Pokemon card product, like TCG boxes or something. Like, he is just saying, oh no, kid gambling. Yeah, no, actually, that's a brilliant idea. We'd have to find a way to do it legally, of course. I'm sure there's a way, but it could be great education. Wild. Actually wild. Like I said, I highly recommend you check out the actual interview. It is unbelievable that not only did he agree to do this interview, but that it was their idea to do this interview in the first place. He wanted to be interviewed, apparently. Unreal. I just had to yap about this once I watched it. That's really about it. So yeah. Did you ever talk to someone about building you a black box to have you play every single console? Yeah, Nick's on it. The guy who made our CSGO, fucking hydraulic chair. Does he know that the Wii can play GameCube games? It's also easier to trim the motherboard for it as you can get it smaller. Yeah, we were going over it. I told him that, like, there's plenty of efficient ways to do it, but I want it to be, like, absurdly over the top. So we are actually going to make it look like the Hit It Joe Doohickey. That's the idea.
Bang! Hit it, Joe!
So imagine this, but it's got like a whole bunch of like wires and places for cartridges and games to go in. I really like the idea of just having something super outlandish for it. So that'll basically be our black box. That'll play every game ever made. Just plug my shit in, get to use my physical game collection. Now, just to temper expectations, it's not going to be every game console ever. It's going to be the ones I actually have the physical media for. So there's not going to be the Zeebo, there's not going to be the Pippin. It's going to be my physical media collection. If it doesn't have the Ouya, what's even the point? And fuck that. I want to actually use it. When would I ever play anything from the Ouya? Like, conceptually, that's fun, and maybe we'll do, like, a spin-off where it's only every shitty thing, every shitty console ever made. But for, like, my actual core black box gaming doodad, I don't need them there. Don't want them there. Will it not have the Magnavox Odyssey 2? Are you even a real gamer? What the fuck is the Magnavox Odyssey 2? Now we're just making up things. Like the Game Sphere.
Computer Golf. Part
Holy
of the
shit.
all-new computer video game Odyssey 2 from Magnavox. Lots of multi-game cartridges. Sports games, football. You've never seen...
Damn, that's so lifelike.
Educational games, mathemagic, games of chance, blackjack, and much, much more. Odyssey 2, another advancement from Magnavox.
That's pretty cool. Doesn't Magnavox just sell DVD players now? Ain't no way Magnavox is still around. That sounds way too old. The dark story behind America's forgotten electronics giant. How is it a dark story? What happened? Inside Magnavox factory, how Fort Wayne, Indiana amplified America, then fell silent. All the employees got trapped in the games. Fuck. This is, oh my, I can't believe this title's actually worked on me, and now I'm so curious what the fucking dark story could possibly be behind Magnavox. I'll give it 45 seconds to sell me on it.
A machine built by two men most people today have never heard of. That machine would eventually become the backbone of one of the most powerful electronics companies America had ever seen.
That's cool.
A company that put a television in your living room.
Oh, wait, what the fuck? I have one of these. I actually just got one of these. It's not Magnavox, but if they were like the progenitors of it, that's very cool. Wow, were they actually like the first to do it?
Comes from the Latin word.
Are you LARPing as a 20s gangster? Why do you have that? It was actually a gift. My parents got it. They got it for me. They thought it'd be cool. And it is cool. It's one of the refurbished ones, so it's not an original. So they also upgraded the components, so it still does like record playing, but it also has Bluetooth. But it's cool. I think I really like it. So far, there's nothing dark about this story. This is a really cool looking thing here. That just looks like some fucking Bronze Age tech. I love that like retro feel of these type of gizmos. Yeah, it's cool. So far, there's again nothing dark about this story. It's just kind of like the history of Magnavox. Maybe there's some kind of like corporate espionage and fucking murder. Who knows, but so far it's just kind of like the interesting story of Magnavox. Oh yeah, you gotta have the Mattel Hyperscan at least. Is that the one where you'd scan the barcodes and it was little monsters? You do scan cards, but it's like for upgrades.
We got a weird one this time. It doesn't sit very flat on my desk. The AV cable cannot be removed. Connectors cost money, you know. The controller ports use the same connector as an old PC mouse. They've tried to stop you plugging other stuff in by having a flat edge on the connector, but this mouse has got a slim plug on it, so it's just not going to work though. So what is this strange piece of, which way up does it even go?
Hyperscan.
This is a Mattel Hyperscan. Wow, that's a noise. Yeah, alright. Oh, we were loading the loading screen. I was about to say, that loading time wasn't too long. Never mind. Wow, I like that pop at the beginning of the sound. Hyperscan.
This
3 of
seems pretty
those
cool.
are Marvel games. The 4th is Ben 10, and the 5th
Ben
is
10.
Interstellar Wrestling League, which I think was actually made up for the Hyperscan. Let's go for a 1-player tournament, and if you only have the disc, this is as far as you can get. It's gimmick time. Cards. The reason why this is called Hyperscan is because you have to scan cards to play the games. When you bought a game for this system, it came with a few game cards so that you could play the game just. But if you wanted more functionality out of the games, you had to buy booster packs of cards.
Oh my god, they were ahead of the curve. If they did this today, TikTok would be going ballistic. Scalpers would be flocking. Oh, Mattel was just a little too early. They were a tad too early. Oh, fuck. They just needed to keep it on ice for a little bit longer. That is the easiest capitalization off the gotcha brain that we have today. Nintendo kind of stole the idea with amiibos. I guess to a certain extent, yeah. Except you literally can't play the game without the cards here, so this is even more egregious and even better for Mattel had they done it in this era where everyone goes ballistic for gotcha and cards.
Packs of cards. Mattel knew that trading cards were popular, and they were hoping that if they added trading cards and video games together, they'd make all the billions of dollars. So when you buy a Hyperscan, you get X-Men, and you get 6 cards. 2 characters, 3 attack modifications, and whatever a strength room is. What a strange looking dude. So Mattel was trying to implement a pay-to-play model before keeping your console online all the time was a thing. So which character do we want? Do we want Wolverine,
Damn,
or
they
I've
just-
never heard of Lady Deathstrike?
too early.
Let's go with I've never heard of Lady Deathstrike.
Is it reading it?
Oh,
nice.
It came up. Before I got one of these, I saw online that it was really impossible to actually scan your cards and it only worked 1 in every bajillion times. I figured that that person's Hyperscan was just a bit junk, and if I got my own, it probably wasn't going to be like that. Turns out they're all like that. Player 1 scanner mod. Well, these 2 cards seem to be exactly the same, except one has Wolverine and one has I've never heard of Lady Deathstrike. I wonder if I use the Wolverine one on I've never heard of Lady Deathstrike. Oh, they're exactly the same card. You can scan more than one mod card. Oh, they weren't the same. One of them was better. What's the point in having the other one? Okay, now we got these loading times I heard about. This console stinks of using the cheapest of everything that they could manage to get the product onto the market.
That's not bad. That's a decent load. That's like firing up Rainbow Six Siege every time.
Ooh, what are the buttons? Oh, I got a block. That's not where I wanted to block. Oh, I'm not very good at fighters, but even with that, I feel
pretty cool. 2006, by the way. That was 2006, huh? For reference, Gears of War was already out. That's pretty cool. They cooked. They fucking cooked. Should play this on stream. Someone in chat saying there's an emulator, so maybe... Who the fuck built a Hyperscan emulator? There's always someone that's willing to make that kind of stuff, even for the most unloved, forgotten things. Might not be the case. I think the age of the inventor has already ended. I could not disagree more. Actually could not disagree more. It is... I think we are currently in the Renaissance. Thanks to things like TikTok, people can fucking hawk anything. But if you're talking about like quality inventions, maybe I'll give you that.
Hey, don't mean to interrupt, but your significant other asked me to give you a message. It's that you need to improve your hygiene, and really the only way to do that optimally is by going to usecheeky.com and getting some of our soap.
The new gen Beyblade is pretty popular now, I believe. Beyblade is popular, man. There's a card shop I go to that has like a pretty strong Beyblade presence. I was so tempted to get some of the blades they had there, or some of the builds they had there. It seems really hype. Like legit, it seems like a lot of fun.
We're jumping into the final match after winning the coin flip.
I don't think Beyblades are like super collectible. You usually just go for like optimized builds or rogue builds, meta. But maybe there is a collecting element to it. I'm not super sure.
And yeah, we got about I'd say we're approaching about 30 degrees with Faradin's launch here.
Can you choose any launch angle?
Hover got quite a few nice attacks. They pulled out a brand new stadium.
He fucking split him in half. Yeah, Beyblade's alive and well. That's the point I'm making. that was the point I was making. It's got a pretty healthy scene. It seems fun, man. It actually seems pretty fun. Confused on how this works, wouldn't this all just be RNG since I would assume all builds have been min-maxed? Yeah, so after you're done with your builds, it does come down to a large chunk of RNG from what I understand, but you can do certain things to influence it and certain things change it based on like the stadium and stuff. So like launch angle, how we mentioned approaching 30 degrees, I imagine that plays a pretty big role. You need to choose like the optimized launch angle for your build. Like there's probably like some very small things in there that have a huge impact on it, but for the most part I think there's going to be a lot of RNG just by design. That would make the entry point to the pro scene pretty low. You should try and win a tournament and make a super serious documentary. I pitched that idea, not about Beyblade in particular, but just making documentaries on like the really small tournaments and stuff as if they're a huge deal. Like what we did with League when we won the Demacia Cup. I really like doing that kind of stuff. Please play the Dragon Ball TCG. I was looking at that. Is this a fun card game? They have two different versions. They have Fusion World, and then they have just like the general one, and I couldn't quite figure out why. Because it's fundamentally the same game. It's just Fusion World is simplified. And when I was trying to look at gameplay, it's only this shit of people treating it like investments, which is so unbelievably cringe. So is the game itself actually fun? How is it fun when you can't buy them? I didn't know that they were hard to find. But I guess that about checks out, considering everything that comes up is only about like the financial investments of Dragon Ball cards. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's so gross. It's just, oh my god, ugh. Everything is just investments with cards. Fuck me. I can't wait for it to crash. I just can't wait. It cannot come soon enough, bro. Holy. How long can this shit go on for? I have no idea. I don't know. Mostly get cards to play, but I did get an Alpha Soul Ring because it's cool as fuck. It is cool as fuck. And if you even know how the game is played, you're already different than 99% of these vultures. What would you rather have first, the AI crash or TCG crash? Let's not get carried away. Obviously the AI crash. That's better for everybody. The TCG situation here is easily avoidable. It's just sad what's happened to it. But the AI crashing is great for all of us. See the AI photo Trump posted of him walking with an alien? I didn't know. That sounds so cool though. What the fuck? Oh, now that's hard. And that alien's fucking yoked though. Everything minus the peen? Holy. That's a fucking frame mog and a half, dude. Oh my. The chain is attached to his hip. Well, yeah, he's not handcuffed. He's goth, bro. He's not a prisoner here, he's an ally. Wallet chain. Oh, true, could have been a wallet chain. Yeah, I know this is something I don't typically talk about, but I'm gonna blabber about it quite a bit today. I was recently talking about Saudi Arabia after their purchase of EA, going into detail about how they are gluttonously buying up basically everything thanks to their infinite money that they have at their disposal. They're basically playing life on admin mode. Like they've entered this era where they just have so much money and now they're using it to buy everything. And I've talked about my own personal experience seeing that firsthand in the esports space. They fundamentally own esports. They've got the entire industry on nipple clamps right now thanks to the money they pump into it because it's an industry that is deprived of it and they are starving, malnourished when it comes to finances. And then Saudi Arabia has swooped in with that supple teat that they're allowing all the orgs to suckle from. Thus, they now basically have esports in a stranglehold, a fucking full Nelson, really.
And this is extending to basically everything in the entertainment and tech sector. And most recently, I'm sure a lot of you saw, there was a Saudi Arabian royal family-backed Riyadh comedy festival where basically every comedian with a pulse got paid a bag to go perform in Riyadh. And pretty much all of them did it with a big old smile on their face, and now that they've finished it, they're doing their best mental gymnastics to justify why it's actually not a big thing and they're not hypocrites for doing it. For those that don't know, Saudi Arabia has a multitude of human rights violations. One of the biggest ones that make the comedians in particular look like hypocrites is their complete disregard for freedom of speech. Like, that doesn't exist there. They execute people for some of the things they say. There are so many notable examples of it. And Dave Chappelle, in particular, has just released a little statement that I think is so laughably delusional that I cannot help but shoot spitballs at it, which is so painful because growing up, Dave Chappelle was such a big part of my childhood, as I'm sure many others. But this is just not the same guy. He has been replaced by a fucking skinwalker. He unironically said that it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than it is in America. If that isn't the dumbest fucking thing I've heard of since Hawk Tuacoin. Dave, to even perform there, you signed a contract that expressly forbid you from talking about or joking about things that may be considered to degrade, defame, or bring into public disrepute, contempt, scandal, embarrassment, or ridicule Saudi Arabia, its ruling government, royal family, or any religion or any religious figure, period. This comes from a comedian that was offered to perform, but said no, which is apparently very rare because not many comedians had the wherewithal to say no. They didn't have the strength. So this contract was leaked, revealed to everybody from a comedian named Atsuka Okatsuka. Hopefully I said that name correctly. She got the invitation, the contract to go, and declined. She refused, and then revealed all of the stipulations that were put in the contract in the first place to ensure people were gagged on the things they were allowed to joke and talk about there. So all the comedians preaching about like how free they felt to speak, they literally signed a piece of paper binding them to ensure they wouldn't talk about a lot of things. So these are things that you are literally not allowed to talk about, Dave. You muzzled yourself just to even attend, to even accept that bag of money. It came with the stipulation that you would not talk about these things. It was fucking forbidden, Dave. Yeah, it's so easy to talk there as long as you agree to not talk about this laundry list of shit that they don't want you to talk about. And Dave, maybe you didn't read the contract. In fact, I'm confident you didn't. So what if you did end up talking about things they didn't want you to talk about? What would have happened? Would you have ended up like one of the many people who were sentenced to death for criticizing the government or making like, you know, what they deem to be destabilizing remarks? Because that's something that Saudi Arabia still does pretty often. Like even in 2025, there's been a lot of executions, and one of them was a journalist who had made posts talking about corruption in the Saudi Arabian regime. His name was Turki Al-Jassar, and he recently was put to death on June 14th after being accused of terrorist crimes, including destabilizing the security of society and stability of the state, which, you're not going to believe this, Dave, there was no evidence for those alleged crimes. But don't worry, his family did at least get to visit him before they took his life, but his family wasn't informed that they were going to kill him. That was just a little surprise they sprung up. They also haven't got his body, by the way, either. Weirdly enough, Dave, it seems like his crime was talking. I don't know, man. There's just so many things there that are just giving me this inkling of a suspicion that it's not exactly as easy to talk there as you like to claim that it is, man. I don't know. There's just little birdies out there saying that it's not exactly super easy to talk in Saudi Arabia. You just happen to agree not to talk about the things that they didn't want you to. Brother, this is just so fucking see-through. Why don't you just be honest and say that the money they offered was too much to turn down? At least that's honest. At the very least, you're being honest. Like, Bill Burr's trying the same fucking mental gymnastics too, as opposed to just admitting, yep, I took the money, I know it makes me a hypocrite, don't care, it was a lot of money to perform for like a day or two or whatever. Like, you might as well just be honest. You've already fucking done it. There's really nothing you can say to be like, actually, this place fucking rocks. This is like all about, you know, we get to joke about what we want and have a good hoot and holler.
because that's just so blatantly wrong. It is so provably false. There are so many things you can pull from to show all of the ways in which that is just not the case. Like, come on. People have the internet at their fingertips. They can easily just Google Saudi Arabia, like, speech laws or something. And you will find instantly, by the way, Turki Al-Jasser, who was just executed, he has been incarcerated for 7 years because of his crime of talking about things they didn't want discussed. And he was even allegedly tortured before they just recently executed him. Like, people can easily find this information, and yes, it does make you hypocrites. Because Dave Chappelle is someone that's, in this statement here, talking about how hard it is to make jokes in America because you might get canceled. And sure, fair enough, that is something that has been going on in America for a while now, and it super sucks. Unfortunately, it's only becoming more and more common now, too. It's fucking terrible. But, in Saudi Arabia, you don't just get canceled, you get canned. You get sent to meet your maker if you talk about things that they don't want discussed. Here, the worst thing that's gonna happen to Dave fucking Chappelle if he gets, like, canceled is he'll lose, like, a show. But then he'll make up for it with a $50 million Netflix special and 100,000 new fans because people usually will support someone that gets, like, a show taken away because they said a joke that was too raunchy or something. Whereas the worst thing that'll happen to Dave Chappelle in Saudi Arabia if he did decide to go rogue off book and start criticizing like the royal family and talking about corruption and shit, they might have fucking imprisoned him and maybe down the line killed him. Because they have a track record of doing that. Maybe not someone to Dave Chappelle's size, they probably wouldn't do that because they know that would be such an international incident, but to just paint the picture, that is something they do there and actively continue to do, showing no signs of stopping. And yet Dave has the chutzpah to try and claim that it's easier to talk there than here. Fucking crazy, man. I almost feel like part of the contract had to be like brainwashing of these comedians too, like literally just forcing them to spit shit out for them, just vomit like tourism brochures. Because Bill Burr, after coming back, is like, oh my god, this was life-changing, calling it a top 3 experience he's had. It was a great experience, that part of the world, and to be part of the first comedy festival over there in Saudi Arabia. The Royals loved the show. You don't say. They loved it? Damn, Bill, that's crazy that they happened to love it. Everyone was happy. The people that were doing the festival were thrilled. Great news, man. I'm super happy to hear that it went really well for the Saudi Arabian Royals there. I was worried. I was a little nervous that the sets might kind of not go over really well there, but I'm happy to hear it was a home run with the Royals. God, Bill Burr's defense of it is almost as fucking stupid as Dave Chappelle's. You think everyone's going to be screaming death to America and they're going to have like fucking machetes and want to chop my head off, because this is what I've been fed about that part of the world. Who are you even talking to, like addressing with this? A ghost? Like, what? Who is actually expecting you to go over there and be met with machetes and people screaming death to America? They paid you unfathomable money to be there for a day, Bill. They're probably not going to be trying to chop your head off screaming death to America. You are there as a helpful, useful puppet on their strings that they are feeding money to dance because it is supposed to help them with tourism. This is put on by their fucking, like, tourism arm here. And also to help obfuscate a lot of the bad stuff going on over there. Of course they're not going to make you have a horrible time, Bill, by waving machetes around. What are you talking about? What a crazy, unhinged statement. So Bill, before getting there, thought he was going to be met with machetes and people screaming death to America? Really? That was the impression you were under? Also, the way he talks about Saudi Arabia, like what he describes, I think is just like extremely fucking weird. Is that a Starbucks next to a Pizza Hut, next to a Burger King, next to a McDonald's? They got a fucking Chili's over here. I had to stop a couple times during the show and say, I'll be honest with you guys, I cannot fucking believe any of you have any idea who I am. It was just this great exchange of energy. They know their reputation, so they were extra friendly. How is that anything beyond, like, a full-blown insult? Is Bill just a big fucking idiot or something? Like, how oblivious is he to the world around him? He's talking about Saudi Arabia like he's talking to children, like, I cannot believe you guys even know who I am over here. He expected them to not have, like, electricity or internet or something? Like, why wouldn't they know who you are, Bill? You're one of the biggest names in the world. Why would you think they wouldn't know who you were? He talks about this, like, it's just, I'm not taking crazy pills, right? Like, this is a super odd thing to say. He took this money, and as he's going over there, he thought he was going to be met with machetes and people coming for his skull saying, "Death to America." He gets there, and now he's like raising an eyebrow, shocked, saying things like, "You guys have a fucking Chili's over here? What are the odds? Over here in this part of the world, you have a Chili's?" It's just so weird. Like, again, if Bill would just say, like, "Look, I'm a hypocrite. I took the money. I couldn't resist. I put my hand in the cookie jar. I was too tempted. It is what it is." At the very least, he'd be being honest. Like, there's more dignity in that than what he's trying here with these statements. It's fucking crazy. Now, I don't want to just insult all the comedians that went. That would be a 10-hour video, because every comedian went, basically. There were a few that didn't, and I want to give flowers to one in particular, Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis has been on a meteoric rise for over a year now, where he's become one of the biggest names in comedy. And Shane Gillis, according to him, was offered a bag to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. But he turned it down. He even did make a statement saying that he took a principled stand and declined the offer to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. Now, he's not the only one that said no. I already mentioned Atsuko Akatsuka. She's the one that actually revealed the censorship rules in the contract that we talked about earlier. But it seems like the overwhelming majority of comedians that received the offer accepted it, seemingly without a second thought crossing their mind whatsoever. Even some of the comedians that claim to be very supportive of free speech, putting a huge emphasis on it as part of their materials and their sets about how important it is, like Jimmy Carr, well, they couldn't resist either. Fucking Jimmy Carr was a co-headliner for this. Really stuck to your guns on that one, eh, Jimbo? And he's far from the only one. If you look at the people that performed there, many of them you've probably seen frequently posting about how wrong it is that people will face like punishments and stuff because of like what they might post online or like jokes or whatever. But they're totally fine taking money from Saudi Arabia, a place that literally has executed people for their opinions and things that they say online. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Until you realize that those comedians, they don't actually believe any of this shit, it seems. They're more than willing to fold on all of this as long as they get paid enough money. It was pretty uncommon to see people say no. And Shane Gillis is right now at like the height of popularity for comedians. And he, I have to imagine, got a crazy offer to go, but still said no. And I just find that to be amazing. I'm really happy to have learned that Shane Gillis wasn't there. But I was very disappointed to see many of those that were. All of the comedians that turned down the offer, I think, deserve like a very strong round of applause, because they actually do practice what they preach when it comes to free speech and the importance of it. Meanwhile, all the comedians that love to yap about principles and all that for their sets and then still went to Riyadh Comedy Festival, seems pretty clear that it's all a bunch of fucking horseradish from them. To me, at least, it seems pretty clear that they're just fucking sellouts that don't actually believe in the things they pump their fist about and joke about on stage or anything. It's all just phony baloney performative, and as long as you give them enough money, it's not like a principle they're gonna stand by. They'll just go take the money instead. Oh, something else I really want to mention, and I know I've already been blabbering about this for a while. Tim Dillon is another comedian who initially accepted the offer, and then on his own show was poking fun at it in saying like they use slavery over there and that he's willing to turn the other cheek because the money was so much, that kind of thing. And they fired him for it. So the implication is when you accept the deal from Saudi Arabia, you then also have to censor yourself in America too and just constantly promote Saudi Arabia and the regime. So even on your own show in America, you were still needing to be a full-blown Saudi Arabian shill. So everyone that went is just so fake, such hypocrites, and they are now just fully shills for Saudi Arabia. They're just so fucking fake, man. It's crazy. I'll stop blabbering about it. I know it's been a little bit already, but it's so sad. It's pathetic. It really is. Anyway, that's really about it. So, yeah. I know this is a topic I've blabbered about quite a bit, but it's something that only continues to spiral more and more out of control. Advertisements during streams. Twitch being the most egregious culprit. I think out of pretty much every service that exists, Twitch's advertisement model is the worst. Actually, you know what? Strike that from the record. I take that back. Put the poop back in my butt. I'm not giving that crown to Twitch because
I think mainstream media outlets are so much worse with their advertisements. I don't know how many of you have gone on the internet with the condom off, no ad blocker. It is miserable when you go to any news site. Like, tabloids are the worst, like Daily Mails, obviously, The Sun, shit like that. You will not even see your article. There'll be like 4 auto-playing ads everywhere, fucking cerebral jacking in, like, Ford advertisements. Like, the article is just encapsulated, entombed in so many ads. So I actually think journalism sites are much worse, but Twitch is a close second. Anyway, the reason why I'm yapping about this again is because a report was recently published about how Twitch viewership is down significantly, the lowest level it's been in 5 years since their bot crackdown, which I've already touched on, but a lot of people have been speculating that it's more than just the bots contributing to the decline in viewership. XQC's take recently just kind of popped off and has reopened this discussion to a broader audience, and it's a really interesting one. He and many others believe that a lot of people are tuning out of Twitch because the ads ruin the experience. What's going on Twitch right now is often being compared to television, how TV started to decline once streaming got a foothold because most people switched from TV to streaming because they were fed up with all of the ad breaks interrupting them. It was far more convenient and a lot more enjoyable to just watch what you want to watch without any interruptions. But of course that opened up its own can of worms with how many streaming services are popping up like fucking weeds across the globe. It is a goddamn pandemic. But the point is, ads made people want to switch from that service, television, to something that had less ads. And in the streaming space, right now we're seeing that with Twitch mainly, but not just exclusively to Twitch, YouTube. YouTube ads have recently been fucking exploding. Like, there are so many more ads now that users are noticing during streams. Though it can't hold a candle to Twitch, where the standard affair on Twitch, if you don't have an ad blocker or if you're not subscribed to the streamer you want to check out, is you go on Twitch, you go to a category, you click on a stream, you sit through like a 2-minute pre-roll ad before you ever even see the content. You see, like in the top right, the countdown for how many more minutes of ads you have to sit through before getting to the content you wanted to watch in the first place. And you say, it's not worth it, and you exit out of that person's stream and then just go to someone that you're subscribed to, or you just go somewhere else. Like, I am at the point, and I've been at this point for a while, where if there's a pre-roll that plays, I just leave. And on my streams, there are pre-rolls. Not because I put them there, it's because Twitch has it as an automated process. If you don't run at least, like, 3 minutes of ad breaks, 3 minutes worth of ads for every hour that you stream, Twitch puts pre-rolls there. You earn your good boy points through ad breaks on Twitch, and if you reach a certain threshold, they get rid of the pre-rolls. What benevolent saints. For me, though, I don't do the 3-minute ad break. I do the literal lowest level possible. I'll show you exactly what it looks like to clear up a lot of confusion I'm seeing, because now a lot of people are saying, Twitch is blameless. Actually, we need to all point our fingers at the streamers. They're the ones that are running 30 minutes of ads per every hour they stream. They're the ones that are greedy and putting the pre-roll ads there. And you're half right. There are streamers that do put the maximum amount of ads per hour possible and just force their viewers to just fucking take the punishment, take the belt to the cheeks. That's brutal. It does get rid of the pre-rolls, but that shit sucks. The pre-rolls are something that Twitch does, not the streamer. So as you can see here, streamers like you have to run up to 3 minutes of ads per hour. In the past month, streamers like you who are based in US, have 6K concurrent viewers, stream gaming, whatever, have to run 3 minutes of ads per hour. So they're trying to push that, and if you don't, then you get the pre-rolls. So I have it set to 30 seconds of ads per hour that I stream, the actual lowest it can possibly go. And because of that, I have pre-rolls that Twitch shoehorns in there. But this can go all the way up to 22 minutes and 30 seconds worth of ads per hour that you stream. And I think there are streamers that do that. They just fucking have it go Insano style, turbo mode, off the charts ads out the wazoo here for it. And that is entirely on the streamers. That is not Twitch's fault. Like, I do think that ruins streaming. Streamers that do that and try and, like, normalize that level of ads. That shit is diabolical. But as for the pre-rolls, that is on Twitch. And I think that is a terrible, terrible practice. That is the antithesis to what streaming is supposed to be, where it is just a live flow of content and you click on things that seem interesting or streamers that you might be interested in watching, and no one wants to sit through fucking 3 minutes before they even see that stream to see if they even like that streamer. They're just gonna leave, like I do. It's just stupid. But it is what it is. That's what the platform is. And it's extremely annoying. And I would actually say that the way Twitch does ads is worse than television ever was. By its very nature, streaming is supposed to be a constant flow of content. You are watching something live. And when it gets interrupted with a 3-minute ad break, it's not just like everything pauses while you watch those ads. You are just now missing 3 minutes of what you tuned in to see. Whereas television, even when you're watching like a live sporting event, when the ad break pops up, there's a timeout. There is a break. You don't miss anything. Or if you're watching your favorite show and it gets to the big climax and then there's an ad break, well, the climax doesn't happen in the fucking background. You don't miss anything. When it comes to streaming, you do. So I think it is much worse, and it is much more intrusive, and it is far more out of control now than it ever was for TV. Because at least with TV, there was like a set amount of commercial breaks. On Twitch, Jesus, Lord knows, because streamers control it. And there are a lot of streamers that just do like maximum ad breaks, so it'll be like fucking 7 minutes worth of ads for every hour streamed, or significantly more. Like they could be doing 3-minute ad breaks every like 10 minutes. Like there is no telling how many ads you will be served when watching a Twitch stream. At least with TV, you knew. There was an expectation, and there was plans around it from the content itself. Again, you didn't miss anything with the ad breaks. With streaming, you do. And it's annoying. And people are really fed up. So I do agree with the take that XQC has said, as well as many others have said, about how ads are literally leading to like the death of streaming, in particular on Twitch. Because Twitch is the worst offender for it. YouTube is going down that path with how many ads they're starting to shove down users' throats. Twitch is still in a worse state with it, and I don't see either platform improving in this department. I just think they're going to make it even worse. Especially Twitch. Twitch, I feel like, has been treading water for a while. Now they do this bot crackdown, their numbers plummet for a little bit. I think that maybe scares them a bit about, like, the potential advertiser hit that they might take, where the advertisers are like, oh, Twitch, this is a big drop. Maybe we won't spend as much on Twitch. Maybe it's not worth the budget that we're allocating over there. We're gonna cut back on this. Like, and then they're gonna go even harder, like pushing their other brand partners to try and like foster that relationship and keep it tight, because they're gonna need to, fucking latch onto it. So I really feel like Twitch's direction with ads has only been getting worse and more intrusive and ruining the experience further and further. YouTube is starting to follow suit because, like I mentioned, they are pumping a ton of ads on streams as well now. Not to Twitch's level yet, but it is there. And I just think that it is horrible for streaming, like, in general. Nobody wants to sit through streams like that where it's interrupted by minutes worth of ads for shit nobody wants in the first place. It is what caused TV to go in a bit of a rough patch there, because streaming offered a better ad-free service. And I've already seen some spitball solutions here that I think are pretty trash. One of them was, well, you should be paying all the streamers anyway, so if you want to watch content ad-free, well, fork over some clams to the streamer and subscribe to them. What the fuck, goober? No, that's super stupid. Streaming is free. Like, you are producing content for free. Getting any money back is just cherries on top. Like, it is a service that is free. And if you now start requiring people to pay money to keep experiencing that service, well, you've got an issue. Because never charge for something that was once free. That is like an age-old saying that remains true. You can find countless examples of that being proven time and time again. Nobody is going to want to pay for something that they were getting for free already. And it is, by its nature, a free service you are providing to viewers. If they like you so much they want to give you some money, then all power to them. I'm not their dad. They can make their own decisions, and that's great. Everyone's happy. Whatever. But this is not a solution to Twitch's inundation of ads to the platform. Everyone shouldn't be required to spend money on the streams they want to watch in order to watch it uninterrupted and unimpeded. It sucks. That's silly. Another solution I've seen kicked around is, well, maybe the streamers just need to do a better job of, like, planning their ad breaks, kind of like how TV used to do it. I already don't like where that's going. We're regressing now to old TV habits, but the idea is streamers, when they're about to run their ad break or when the ad break is coming up, they pause everything and, like, tell their viewers, all right, here comes ads, go stretch, do that. Take some time if you don't want to watch them, and then we'll come right back after the ads in, like, 3 minutes or whatever. And I think there are some streamers that have experimented with that. I don't know how well it's been received. And theoretically, it makes sense because at least then they're not missing any content. But that's not going to work for every stream. You can't do that for every stream. You can't plan around all of that because these streams aren't planned. Like, I guess you can pause a game, sure. Like, that can kind of work to pause your game that many times for, like, stretch breaks and whatever. But it's not going to work for every stream and every streamer. It just wouldn't. There's too many variables at play with every stream that happens. Also, I think it'd be very unfair to the people that just don't want to run ads in the first place. You can't just pause your stream for the pre-roll ads. You'd never have a stream because everyone is going to get a pre-roll ad when they come to your stream. How the fuck are you going to ensure that they're not missing content with that pre-roll ad? They're going to. You have no way of stopping that. And I don't think the solution is to require everyone to start running, X amount of minutes of ads per hour. People don't want to do that. Like me, I don't want to do that. It's that simple. So I don't think that's a good solution either. It is a complicated problem. I recognize on Twitch's end, they need to make money off their platform. Otherwise, how the fuck are they going to keep it going? It's very expensive, and the way to do that is through advertising. But their advertising methodology, I think, is just really counterintuitive to what streaming is and has been, and it's just going in a really bad direction that continues to make it worse. Yeah, obviously I don't have all the answers there, but there's gotta be something, because I really do think as this continues, more and more people are just not going to watch streams when an ad pops up, and it'll probably just turn them off from even clicking on streams in the first place, knowing that they're going to get ads before even going to it. So there's got to be a solution. There's got to be something to change with that from YouTube and Twitch's end of this inundation of ads. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to yap about it again. That's really about it. So yeah. Strangers Chapter 2 came out. Did you even know that? Hopefully not. I imagine you didn't, and I apologize for even putting this on your radar. They made a sequel to Strangers Chapter 1, which was abhorrent. I can't even remember if I made a review spitting on it. I don't even know if I even bothered to take the time insulting that movie or not. I might have, might not have. It's all a blur to me now. But turns out they've made a sequel to it. And they've made the inexplicable decision to make a sequel to that super stinker. And not only that, turns out it's a trilogy. At the end of this movie, they even have a montage sizzler reel giving you the little breadcrumbs for Chapter 3. It is so silly. I really thought Nick Fury was about to pop on screen and recruit Maya to the Avengers. Maya being the survivor of Strangers Chapter 1, The Attack. I don't say this lightly, but we might be witnessing the worst trilogy in horror movies. And only one question needs to be asked. Why? Why would you even make this in the first place? The first Strangers movie, the original, is a banger. I really liked that film. Strangers Chapter 1 is irredeemable dog shit. And Strangers Chapter 2 completely wipes its ass with everything that made the original good. You see, in the original... I just dropped a you see like Darman here. But it is this profound. In the original Strangers, one of the most horrifying moments is when they are asked, when the main character asks the strangers why they're doing this. Why are you torturing us? Why are you going to kill us? What is the point? What are you doing this for? And they respond saying, because you were home. That's it. You don't get a Naruto flashback to the strangers explaining what led them to this moment, why they turned out this way. You don't get any tiddlywinks of lore about these characters at all. It's this message here. That's all you get. Because you were home. Letting the viewer know that these are just unhinged psychopaths that are doing this just because they felt like it, and this couple happened to be there at the time. It is such an effective scene. Strangers Chapter 1 was horrible, but it did at least keep intact the strangers just being like, faceless nobodies doing something because they clearly have a love for it. And they gave their own spin, their fucking remix on Because You Were Home, and butchered it. Stranger Chapter 2, though, completely takes the Strangers concept and flushes it down the shitter. This movie dedicates a pretty substantial chunk of its short runtime to fleshing out one of the Strangers. Well, two of the Strangers, giving you their backstory. Which is the antithesis to what these films are supposed to be about in the first place. So, of course, we're going to get into spoilers. This is your warning. Movie sucks. You're not missing anything. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not even like fun bad. It's just kind of a slog. Even though it's only like an hour and a half, it feels longer because it's just not good. And I saw the lead actress here come out and say, like, the best films are often polarizing. And I understand that you can't just come out and just, you know, start pissing on the movie that you're in. You're supposed to promote it, but the best films are polarizing. It's not polarizing. No one likes this movie. And plus, this is not part of, like, the best films. You know, this trilogy isn't going to be talked about in the same breath as, you know, fucking Lord of the Rings or something like that. But anyway, Strangers Chapter 2 picks up pretty much immediately where Chapter 1 leaves off, where Maya has just been the victim of the Strangers' attack. Her fiancé was killed right in front of her, and she just barely survived, and now she's recovering in the hospital. And we immediately meet one of the Strangers, unmasked. It's the waitress from the diner, Shelley. And then we get, throughout the film, like 25-ish minutes dedicated to showcasing her childhood. And it turns out she was just born evil. She snaps the neck of a rat. She's obsessed with this boy who is like, has this girl that follows him around, so she gets really jealous and eventually kills that girl being Tamra, which, if you've seen Chapter 1, first of all, my condolences, what a waste of your time. Lord, help us, I hope you don't see Chapter 2. Hopefully, me explaining this here will paint a good enough picture, you won't feel, you know, the need to spend money on this piece of shit. But anyway, that's Tamra, and so she kills Tamra, and now every time the Strangers go out and kill, she starts by saying, "Is Tamra there?" in reference to that moment from her childhood. And that boy in the flashbacks is pretty obviously the guy in the scarecrow mask. So we get like 20-25 minutes just showing that she's evil. That's it. But that undoes the whole concept of the Strangers just being like these psychopaths you know nothing about, never learn anything about, and they're just doing this because, well, who really knows? They're just doing it because they want to. Here, you're getting so much backstory and shit. They're actually setting this up like it's supposed to be some kind of like Marvel universe here for the Strangers. It sucks. I really hated that direction. But not only that, the movie itself is just not good. I will say, though, the best part of it was the beginning where Maya's in the hospital and the Strangers are alerted that she survived. Well, they then make it their mission to go out and finish the job. But before doing that, Maya's talking to the sheriff and like the other officer, and they're fucking weirdos. Like, the sheriff is a freak. He's talking to Maya about, like, what she encountered. He's like, maybe your memory's a little foggy. You did almost die, you know. It's pretty clear they're setting him up to be, like, this creepy presence who is clearly involved with the Strangers in some shape or form. My guess is one of them is, like, you know, his daughter or his son. So he, like, actively works to cover up their murders, which is a core component to the story that they sprinkle in here and there about how this town has all these murders that get covered up. And, yeah. So he's clearly involved. They make that very obvious from the get-go. But they also set up, like, this whole town might be involved. There could be, anyone could be the Strangers. So Maya's being hunted in the hospital. The hospital is fucking ginormous, by the way, like probably the size of the town, it feels like, with the amount of rooms she goes through and hallways she runs down. And somehow the Strangers have like fast travel throughout this film. So even when she ends up in like the fucking basement, like in the middle of nowhere, one of the Strangers just happens to be there. Like she's just already there. Why would she be there? You knew that she was in one of the hospital beds. Why the fuck would you like fan out to like the basement garage? And that happens a lot, where she, like, ends up in the woods at one point, and somehow the Strangers, these are giant woods, by the way, but somehow the Strangers are always, like, right on her tail, like, only a few yards away. Even though they never saw where she went, or even knew that she ended up in the woods in the first place like that. Like, it's just crazy to me how they're, like, this omniscient presence. Like, they are constantly able to find her in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's like they actually have a UAV online or something. Or like in Mario Kart, like rubber banding, where like they can always catch up to you. It's so baffling. But anyway,
the best sequence is in the hospital where she's like running away from the strangers. I actually thought they did a good job of like building up some tense moments where the guy with the axe is coming through and she's trying to like outsmart him by hiding. But then it's always undercut by her making like a really stupid decision. So like she completely evades him at one point, and then while he's still like within earshot, she starts to like crawl away and she like blasts a wrench with her knee. So then obviously he hears that, goes over and starts throwing barrels around. Anyway, Maya manages to get out of the hospital. Axe guy butchered like 2 people. And then she ends up in the woods. She ends up in the woods. Somehow the strangers are like able to track her in the woods, like I mentioned. I guess they could just fucking smell her from miles away or something. So they're tracking her. She eventually winds up on a road where a car's coming, and it's one of the people from the hospital. And she stops, lets her in, and it's her, another woman, and then 2 other dudes are just walking on the road randomly in this pouring down rain. They're like, oh, it just happens to be our roommates. What are you guys doing? They're like, yeah, fucking, he calls him Dick Stain. Dick Stain forgot the keys or something to the truck, so now we're walking home. It's like, well, hop in, and they turn it into a clown car, so now they're sandwiching Maya in the backseat, and these 2 guys are obviously very creepy, and they're setting them up to be very creepy. So the whole idea is anyone in this car could be one of the strangers. Maya starts freaking out because she thinks she's in danger. The guy next to her has like a smiley face tattoo on his neck, and he's really shifty. It's very clearly trying to nudge the viewer that this is probably the Scarecrow, and I thought it was a red herring, but I'm actually pretty sure it is just the main Scarecrow guy, because at the end of the film, the big reveal, like with the Tamara flashback, is Shelley and that boy draw a smiley face out of Tamara's blood, and this guy just happens to have that same smiley face tattoo on his neck. And also, he's never there when the axe guy comes through, the Scarecrow guy. So I think it probably is just that guy, but it feels just too obvious. But I also think this movie is just that shitty that they probably will just make it very obvious and not even try to subvert your expectations. But anyway, I'm getting so lost just like yapping about this fucking thing, just blabbering on. She's in the backseat with these 2 guys. She's freaking out. The other guy is, he's also weird. She grabs a knife that one of the girls was using to cut an apple with. She grabs a knife, jumps out of the moving vehicle, runs back into the forest, and then the strangers are starting to track her again. She goes like survivalist mode. She makes a fire and everything. She drinks some water from a nearby like stream, and then she gets attacked by a wild boar. Well, I guess not wild per se. It's semi-domesticated because the axe guy, well, it turns out when he was a kid, we get this from the flashbacks, he could like mind control boars. I say mind control, but like he's able to, he's like the boar whisperer, so he can like talk to the wild pigs and have them do his bidding. So he goes to a shed, unlocks the shed, and then that boar finds Maya, and then it becomes like the Revenant for a little bit. Like it is actually straight up just like the Revenant. So she's getting attacked by the boar, bitten by the boar and shit, and then she has to stab and kill the boar. She does. She's extremely injured, again, because obviously she just got attacked by this fucking boar. But she's able to muscle her way through the forest and end up back at the house from the Chapter 1 film. It's all cautioned off because there was a grisly murder that happened there, but she's able to take some refuge in there for all of like 45 seconds, and then some guy shows up, and it turns out he like shows her a badge. He's Internal Affairs, who's investigating the sheriff for his like covering up of all the murders that are happening in town. He just comes out of nowhere, by the way. I don't know why he ended up at this house. No one is at this house. It's all cautioned off. I don't know why he wouldn't go to like the town and like the police station itself to conduct like the investigation and everything. But he just randomly ends up at this house. He finds Maya, immediately recognizes that Maya is one of the victims. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna do everything I can to help you. Here, get in my truck. We're gonna get into town. And then as she gets in the truck, he gets sniped by a crossbow from one of the strangers. So he was in actually maybe like 15 seconds worth of film there. So now she has a truck, she drives away, but it got hit by a crossbow, and now it's like breaking down, and it crashes, well, it runs out of juice right at the house from that woman from before, and the roommates and everything. It's their house. So she collapses at the door, they stitch her up, fix her, get her back together, and then that guy with the smiley face tattoo, his name is Gregory, and this guy is like the biggest. I cannot stress this enough. He is like what a Redditor thinks is cool. He is so fucking cringe. I had to write this down. I didn't take too many notes during this movie because it's just so bland and boring. But Gregory is bafflingly cringe. So, when she gets up out of bed, notices that she's been stitched up, she walks out of her room and meets Gregory, who's chugging a bottle of alcohol, and he's just immediately like going back and forth. He's like, "Oh, you like my tattoo, don't you? Yeah, it's a cool tattoo. We had a little like church retreat, and we all got tattoos and stuff. Like you like what you're supposed to do and stuff. You like this tattoo, don't you? I know you like this. Yeah, you do. I know you do." And then like he's just being so weird, and Maya just says that's cool. And then the others come in, the other roommates are like, "Gregory, stop being such a creep." And he's like, "Gah, whatever." So then he like storms off behind her to the door right next to her, or to the door behind her, slams it, says fuck, and then turns on rock and roll music on his fucking boombox. It is so embarrassing. Like, it's so bad. I cannot believe they actually did that unironically, and it wasn't even played off as like a joke or anything. It was awful. But I'm also pretty sure that is just the Scarecrow guy. I don't think that they're gonna try and make him a red herring. It's probably just him. It's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Anyway, though, after that encounter with Gregory, she goes back to her room to rest. Gregory storms off, fucking hammered, gets in his car, drives away, and the roommates, they then get attacked by the strangers. So both of them get killed, and then the two female strangers are trying to break into Maya's room. One of them is actually behind her. Maya had no idea she got flanked. And instead of the stranger killing Maya, she instead starts singing "Rock-a-bye baby on the treetop," trying to be like really creepy. And then Maya had a pair of scissors, so she turns around and stabs her. The only reason Maya gets away at all in this film is because the strangers are so fucking bad at what they're doing. Like, they're not even doing it as part of like their game or whatever. They're just like genuinely stupid people. So she gets stabbed, and then she runs and locks herself in the bathroom, and then the strangers just leave. It's like, "Oh, I got stabbed like in the shoulder. I'm gonna go home. I gotta get this checked out." So they just leave. So Maya just waits in there for a couple minutes. Diagros leaves, and then an ambulance is there because an ambulance was sent to pick up Maya. And she gets in the ambulance, and it turns out the strangers didn't fully leave. They were waiting to ambush her. So Shelley is in that ambulance, and now they're fighting. And it's really an easy fight. Maya, who has been mauled by a boar, stabbed, beaten up, like absolutely like beyond repair, like probably tons of broken bones, ouchies, lacerations, can hardly walk, is able to easily overpower Shelley and stab her in the head, killing her. Or so you thought. As Maya's driving away in the ambulance, Shelley gets up and like starts strangling her with the seatbelt, so then Maya flips the ambulance, which kills Shelley. And then Maya watches as the Scarecrow guy and the other female stranger pull up in their truck and see that Shelley is dead. They unmask her, and he starts fucking crying over her corpse. And then you get that last flashback I mentioned with that smiley face after killing Tamra. And that's Strangers Chapter 2, setting up for Chapter 3, where she's going to kill the other two strangers. It sucks. Really does. I don't know what they were thinking making this movie. Well, making these movies. I don't know why they made Chapter 1. I understand even less why they made Chapter 2. And I really cannot fathom why they are making Chapter 3. Apparently these were filmed back to back to back. Like, they really banked on this being, like, successful, like, people being very invested in this, but I don't know how anyone could possibly be invested in these movies. Anyway, that's really about it. Yep. The Dino King Resistance AMV. The Dino King AMV community is alive and well. Yeah! CJ Entertainment. What's that stand for? Cunt Jurassic? It's a South Korean movie. Oh my god, but Liam Hemsworth is in this. We got ourselves a cinematic universe to watch, boys and girls. The vast majority of numbers you see on the internet aren't real. The accounts that you interact with, the posts that you see, oftentimes aren't even made by a human being on the other side of the keyboard. The cyberspace is dominated by bots. And unless you've just woken up from a coma, this isn't news to you. Everybody knows that now. It's an accepted part of cruising the World Wide Web that the shit you see is artificially inflated.
And it's become a huge yapping point, a massive topic, specifically dead internet theory, and diving even deeper into the minutia of bots, cannonballing into the deep end of the pool, you will find viewbots, a topic that often gets very aggressive and accusatory because it is so prevalent across streams in particular, on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick. Streamers of all shapes and sizes are often using viewbots to boost their numbers. It's not some big conspiracy, it's not deep state propaganda or anything like that. It is a provable, real thing that platforms just don't seem to be taking any real action on at all. I could right now go live on Twitch openly stating I'm viewbotting it out the wazoo to fucking 20k viewers, and maybe the worst that would happen is I get like a 24-hour suspension from Twitch. They don't care. They made that push like a year ago about getting bots off the platform, but that lasted for 2 fucking days? And then they took like a catastrophic hit to their overall viewer metrics, and I guess they pumped the brakes because at the end of the day, and this is something people say a lot, and it is true, those huge numbers are good for Twitch as well to advertisers, even if the numbers are fake, even if they know it's botted, phony baloney, fraudulent viewer metrics. It doesn't matter. It makes them more appealing to brands. So it seems like they are very hands-off when it comes to doling out big punishment for view bots. It's not exactly a well-kept secret. It's pretty out there in the open that tons of streamers view bot. Now, the reason why I'm yapping about it again is because just yesterday, or maybe it was even earlier today, I don't know, time moves in a weird fucking fashion once you hit your 30s. Everything blends together, your bones fucking creak anytime you walk up or down stairs. Anyway, I'll stop bitching and whining about that. I know you're not here to listen to me play a sad song on the world's smallest violin about my deteriorating cartilage. The CEO of Night Media, Reed, came forward with a post out of nowhere saying that it's time to start viewbotting. That's the title of the post, which is a eye-catching title, no doubt. Very seldom will you hear someone in that kind of position just say the quiet part out loud here about success in the streaming space. And make no mistake, Night Media is fucking huge. They are one of the top dogs in the YouTuber streamer agency space. They are huge in the industry. They represented Mr. Beast for a while. I don't know if they still do, but they have represented and still actively represent massive creators. So it was certainly interesting to see him with a post like this that makes it seem like he's out there saying, everyone's got a viewbot, we got to open Pandora's box. If you're not pooping, you're farting. If you're not using viewbots, you're at a disadvantage. Wake the fuck up, samurai. Time to get viewbots on the horn. But reading the post, it's a little bit different, though ultimately his tone around viewbots does seem to be somewhat positive. What does it take to cut through all the noise on the internet? If everyone else is botting, why shouldn't you? We used to live in a world where if you made great content, algorithms would find an audience for your videos. Now, creators have to clip farm, pay clippers, and sometimes even viewbot to have a better chance of capturing more attention and breaking through the noise. This is especially true on platforms like Twitch, where viewbotting can surface you on the front page of popular streaming categories. Off rip, this is some turbo doomer shit because it kind of positions it as like your only option if you're just getting started. Oh, there used to be a time where if you made great content, you could get found, but those times are way behind us in the shitter now. It's gone. That's a era long forgotten, like the saber-toothed tiger. Now, if you want to cut through the noise, you gotta clip farm, pay clippers, or Lord help us, even viewbot. You gotta get down and dirty in the pig pen. It's the only way. Well, that's not true. You can still make great content and get found. It does happen. I think the best example of that is Queso. I would be shocked to learn Queso viewbotted at any point in his life. I don't even think the guy could find a viewbot website or provider. I genuinely don't think he would even know where to begin with something like that. And he has blown up solely because he makes good content. He cut through the noise. And this is something I've always said, luck is a huge part of it. It is. It just is. But what he is right about is that in the current day and age, there is an alternative that doesn't rely as much on RNG, and that is pay to win. You can stand a better chance of standing out in the oversaturation of content creation by paying for viewbots to float your stream to the top of categories, or pay for viewbots on other socials where you're spamming clips from your streams so you could boost up numbers on, a wacky moment or something and have it like
explode elsewhere because you inflated the numbers through ViewBots, so then people could find your stream and maybe organically grow it that way, but you still ViewBotted in order to boost a clip that led people to the stream. Like, there are paths that don't rely as much on luck, because if you just have money to start and just start buying views, it does help put you in front of more eyes. It's something that's very common, especially on Twitter. But at the end of the day, I just don't like this mentality that Reed kind of encapsulates here of, well, everyone else is cheating, so I should too. And he's trying to make like a strong argument that everyone else is doing it. Content alone, it could be the most slapping, banging content ever. It's not good enough. It's all about the distribution method now, which is dominated through bots and shit like that. So really, you gotta think about this strategy of using bots. I just don't like how he's positioning bots as a strategy instead of calling it what it really is, which is cheating. Like, yes, you can gamify the distribution and shit through bots. Everyone fucking knows that. But I just don't think it's something that should be outwardly encouraged. And it's really weird that the CEO of Night Media, one of the biggest agencies in the space, especially for streamers, is having this kind of viewpoint. Like, his title isn't exactly indicative of his thoughts, because he does say, like, this is a problem, this is an exploit, but he speaks about it like, this exploit exists, so you have to use this now. It's like, you really should, like, almost that it's a necessity. And I just don't like that perspective, nor that mentality. I just think there's a reason why this topic on ViewBots is always so passionate from so many people, because ViewBots fucking suck. Nobody likes that. It is just a completely dog shit norm right now. And I don't think it needs to be even more normalized. But it's not some requirement or anything like that. Reed then goes on to make a mention of advertisers and ViewBots. Do advertisers have any way of tracking botted engagement, and why isn't Twitch cracking down on this at all? Those are two really good questions. The answer to do advertisers have a way of tracking botted engagement is a big nobody fucking knows. My gut tells me there's no way advertisers would have any clue, because how would they? How would they distinguish between authentic and real viewers through just a number plastered on a stream? It'd be entirely on Twitch to take care of the bots and get that number to be where it's like the authentic viewers and not just like, you know, fraudulent ones. I don't see how they could ever possibly know what's real and what's fake based on just the publicly available information. And I doubt Twitch is behind the scenes saying, okay, so your advertisement was played in front of 1 million concurrent viewers over the course of this campaign. Of that, about 15K were real human beings. We really appreciate your business. Like, I highly doubt that fucking happens, right? Like, it doesn't happen on a streamer basis with sponsors either. So, like, if a streamer is botting his stream up to, like, 5K, but really he only has, like, 1,000 real viewers there, and he works with a brand, and he sells to this brand at the 5K concurrent viewers, he's making a lot of extra money versus if he sold at his real 1K, and now the brand gets put in front of what they believe is 5,000 people, but is actually 4,000 bots with only 1,000 real people there. So maybe the campaign only sees them make like 3 fucking sales. Like, man, Perry Poutine Gotcha Game only got 3 clicks through this guy's stream, even though he has 5K concurrent viewers. What's going on here? And then you can maybe speculate and surmise that, okay, he's botting. But then you'd also never really know for sure, because you could also say like, okay, maybe his community's just not interested in this gotcha game. These brands, I don't think have any idea, is the point I'm making. I don't see how they would. It's entirely on Twitch to combat the bots, and I don't think there's a way or a tool that these brands have access to that normal people don't, that lets them see real versus fake viewers. And then to Reed's second question about why does Twitch not crack down on it, I think everyone knows, because Twitch also benefits from these hugely inflated numbers. They see a lot of upside to these massive numbers being housed on Twitch. I think that's pretty clear. Probably don't need to dive any deeper on that. And it is something that he starts to tackle in his next section here about platforms needing to take action. He goes on to talk about, you know, how prevalent the botting problem is, as well as the reluctance from platforms to act on it, believing that the more views there are, the better things look for advertisers, which many people agree with. And again, that probably is the simple truth of it. If these numbers are huge, the platforms are probably very happy, because then it's more appealing to advertisers. It could end up with more money to the platform itself. I think it really is that simple. Now, it's this section that ties directly into the eye-catching title that he used here for this piece. If everyone else is doing it, should you? I would never explicitly say you should bot your views on Twitch, other than in the title of this article. But the reality is, if you're not view botting and everyone else is, you're at a disadvantage. When you're competing in a category where you're buried if you don't have 500 plus viewers, maybe shifting your strategy to paying clippers and buying bots helps a streamer break through. I wanted to see what it would cost to bot a stream, and for $180 a week on ViewBotter, I can get 1,500 followers, 225 chatters, and 750 concurrent viewers. Not bad for less than $800 a month, and these companies accept crypto payments. So, he's saying that he's not actively advocating for ViewBotting your channel, but if you're not, well, you got your own dick in your butt. Like, everyone around you is doing it. Maybe you should shift your strategy. I don't know. To me, that feels like he is advocating for it. Maybe I'm on the crack pipe. He's pointing out a real problem, that these platforms don't enforce it, so the precedent has been set that there's no actual consequences. But it does seem like he's saying, you really should ViewBot your streams if you want to succeed. And he does prop it up as a legitimate strategy and even insinuates that it's not like super expensive, saying, not bad for less than $800 a month. Look at this huge head start you can get. Really should be something to consider. And I get it. It is something that people obviously consider and pull the trigger on, no doubt. But it's not exactly something that I think should be encouraged either. It sucks. It is a bad practice. And there's a reason why this is such a big topic, because people don't like ViewBotters. It's not something that I think should be talked about in a manner that feels like it's positive and encouraging, and even setting it up as maybe even your only option if you want to stand out, because as Reed said multiple times, good content isn't good enough. You got to really consider distribution, and distribution ViewBots can really do wonders for. I don't know. To me, it just rubs me the wrong way. He then closes by talking about ViewBot detection and how Twitch CEO mentioned it's a game of cat and mouse, and that really there's not a whole lot of great information that he could find on how brands can detect ViewBots or anything like that. And then he finishes the big takeaway. We've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough, distribution tactics are. When clipping, paid amplification, and even bots can artificially push you up the rankings, the playing field starts to tilt toward whoever is willing to game it. Twitch's detection tools feel reactive at best, and advertisers don't seem to have a reliable way to verify what's real. If botting becomes normalized, creators face a brutal question. Compete clean and risk invisibility, or bend the rules to survive. Long term, though, this erodes trust in the entire ecosystem. Again, he drives that point home about good content alone isn't enough. It's all about distribution tactics, and I just firmly disagree. Good content alone is sometimes enough. But again, it does take luck. It does. It always has, and it always will. Distribution tactics, though, he's right, can be gamified and boost your shit and immediately give you a better chance, so you're not overly reliant on luck. If you'd rather focus instead on pay-to-win mechanics through clippers and ViewBots and stuff like that, then you would be entering the Thunderdome competing head-to-head, toe-to-toe with countless others who are doing that daily. That is very, very common. And in many, many cases, it's hard to tell if it's real or fake. So it is a legitimate problem, and it sucks that platforms don't do anything about it. He's not wrong about the core, that there is a huge problem because these platforms don't crack down on ViewBots. Now everyone fucking does it seems. And it fucking blows. And I imagine he's right that it is a very real consideration for tons of streamers. Well, why would I even bother trying to do this legitimately when everyone else is fucking cheating? Everyone else is ViewBotting, so why wouldn't I? And it's hard to argue, because it's morally correct to, play fair. It would be hard to make someone be okay, then I'll do that and go nowhere unless I get fucking crazy lucky. When the alternative is apparently cheap ViewBots that give them a better chance. It's something that he's not wrong about in his assessment here. Again, I just find it weird that it feels like he's speaking on it almost positively, you're at a huge disadvantage, you really need to think about this strategy that actually isn't all that expensive if you want to compete on an even playing field. Because at the end of the day, I don't think ViewBots are something that should be encouraged. I don't think it should be twisted to the point where people consider ViewBots like a strategy as opposed to just cheating. Because viewbots are bad for everyone. There's a reason why it's such a passionate topic for so many people. Because it sucks. It sucks for the people that aren't doing it, and it sucks for viewers too. Like, viewbots are just shitty overall, like, genuinely. So, like, it's not something that I'd like to see more people start being like, yeah, let's start really thinking about doing more viewbotting, as if there's not already enough. So, anyway, this was a very interesting post, to say the least, and I just wanted to yap about it. That's really about it. See ya.
Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at Season 3 of Stranger Things, and as a whole, Stranger Things in general. I really like the show. A lot of people like it out of nostalgia for the 80s feel because it really captures it well. This show is almost second to none when it comes to production and set design. I think it does an absolutely beautiful job capturing the time period. But for me personally, it doesn't elicit nostalgia because I wasn't born in the 80s, I was early 90s, 94. So I was past the 80s time into the 90s where everything was extremified, you know. You didn't just have basketball, you had slam ball, jumping around on trampolines, breaking ankles, breaking dicks. So I don't get the feeling of nostalgia, and I still fucking love the show. But in Season 3, I did get some fat nostalgia boners from one particular place in the show that's very integral to the entire development of the season, and that's the mall. The mall in this show is absolutely beautiful, and it really captures what pre-2000 malls looked like. Where I grew up, the mall I went to was pretty old-fashioned, and it looked almost exactly like this one, eerily similar, in fact. And watching this season, I was having some fucking flashbacks, Vietnam-style, to some events that happened in my childhood at that mall. I saw my first pair of tits at that mall, in fact, like live titties. I'm not going to get into the story. There's really not much of a story. The area I grew up in was also pretty crime-ridden, so it's just, drugs and shit. But anyway, it brought up old memories, and it was very nostalgic for me. I fucking loved that mall. And I love seeing that design reflected in this season. I really fucking like that setting, and man oh man does it look great in this season. The whole season is fantastic. I actually think it's the strongest season. I liked it more than the first season. The second season I enjoyed, but I thought there was a lot of low points. And it's going to be hard to talk about Season 3 and Stranger Things in general without getting into spoilers, but the shit's been out for 4 days, so I'm sure most of you have already seen it. So just this is a forewarning for spoilers coming up, because there's things that I didn't quite care for really get into spoiler territory, but overall, I loved it. I really did. I really enjoy the characters. I think the characters are super strong, super well written, and they're able to deliver, well, not the characters, but the writers are able to deliver a really fun story told very well with a lot of moving parts to it, and it has that really nice cheesiness that I always like to see. In this season, there's the new enemy introduced, some evil Russians that have invaded Hawkins for a dubious, nefarious, evil mastermind comic book shit plot line that is never really touched on. The motivation for why the Russians are trying to get into the Upside Down and, reopen the gate isn't really explored. It's just kind of left up to the viewer's interpretation. What you kind of get is military reasons. So maybe I'm sure they will expand on why they're doing it more in the next season. But I don't think that's a big deal to leave it vague like that. I'm sure they're going to expand on it, of course. And to be honest, it really kind of fits the vibe of an old 80s style movie where the only plot development and plot device you get is there's some goddamn evil Russians doing some creepy shit with demons. That about covers it. And you don't need to know why. You just need to know it's there, and you got to start coming in guns blazing, tits flying off and shit. So I'm fine with them leaving the motivations vague. I really just enjoyed almost everything about this season. The only things that I can even point out that I didn't care for were some plot holes and also some plot lines that didn't really go anywhere. The biggest one there is Billy and Mike's mom. Very early on, they're about to, fuck in a hotel. Mike's mom cheating on the family to go fuck Billy. And that didn't happen, and it is never touched again outside of that episode. Nothing develops from that. It has no purpose at all, and it just kind of fades out of everyone's memory. I just don't really see why that was even thrown in there in the first place. I don't really get what it added to Billy's character, nor Mike's mom. I thought maybe Mike's mom would be a bigger role in this season, but she is not. That's her biggest role, is nearly cheating on her family, so not exactly, a yeehaw type of moment, nothing great to celebrate with her character development or anything. But it just seemed out of nowhere that didn't really serve much of a purpose. Billy was a fantastic character. He developed really well and became this huge component to the season by being a puppet for the Mind Flayer. And he was more than just a puppet, because he also had his own personality in there. You get more of his backstory. You get to see him struggle with being a drone and shit. It was really a good character. I really liked Billy's character, and I really like how it all ended with his arc and everything. I'm very satisfied with that, and I really was caught off guard. I didn't think he'd be much more than just like a comically evil vessel, but it was a lot of fun to watch his character in this season. Another thing that I have a complaint for is the entire way that they discovered the Russian base makes no sense to me. So they pick up a Russian transmission, a coded message, and they're able to crack that and then locate their base underground because they heard a toy horse song play in the background. One of the quarters, then you put it on the toy horse and you write it, Old Town Road style and shit. And then they heard that on the message they intercepted. Having a hard time explaining it because it's very silly to me. So why this makes no sense to me is, why the fuck are the Russians even broadcasting a radio message in the first place? Everyone from the Russian division, the evil organization, Umbrella Corp, everyone was already on the same page. The coded message said where all their shit was going, why it was going there, and when it was going there. But why do they need to transmit that over radio to the people on the surface in the Russian organization? They already knew that because it was a scheduled thing that happens like clockwork, so I don't much see the point in them broadcasting the message in the first place. And also, since the message was being broadcast from underground to the people above ground, how the fuck could the horse literally miles up, like this fucking underground lair was damn near in the Earth's core, and yet somehow a horse on the surface in the mall was going off, and that was picked up on the radio. And that's how they were able to identify where the base was. How the fuck could that happen? There's no way, unless that horse is transmitting at the same frequency or something. I don't exactly know how ham radios work or anything, but that makes no sense to me. It made no sense to me, and it still doesn't. I also don't really understand what the point was of having the rats and people eating fertilizer and poison and stealing tools, because that was never referenced again, and it all stopped kind of after one day. And that was huge for a little bit. It was this huge pandemic going around Hawkins where rats were eating fertilizer and then people were eating fertilizer and presumably all bringing it back to the Mind Flayer, but it was never used or explored. The only reference to it that I can connect the dots to is he was using it to make the humans, explode into mush, but why does he need that? That doesn't really help him either, because he could do that himself, as he demonstrated. He didn't need the chemicals to make it easier. Another thing that I thought is maybe they brought it to him to make him into like a different substance, kind of like what was referenced with Scott when they were working on the magnet. Maybe that's what he was doing, but again, that's not really explained. It just doesn't really make much sense. They just had this whole plot line of fertilizer and poison being ingested and nothing coming from it, but for a little while that was a big deal, and then all of a sudden it stops with no explanation either. I just didn't see the point. I don't know where it went. I don't know why it was there in the first place. Maybe Mike's mom was stealing it and framing the Mind Flayer. Maybe she's the big villain. I really just don't know. There's a lot of plot lines that I don't think had much of a purpose. And the last big one that really comes to mind is I don't like what Will has become in the show. He's an extremely underutilized character, no matter how you look at it. He doesn't do anything except alert you when the Mind Flayer is nearby. Granted, that's important, but come on. Every other character has moments to shine in the season. Literally every other character does some important stuff and plays a very big role and has meaningful moments, but Will is delegated to just being like a proximity detector, like a smoke detector, for when the Mind Flayer is nearby. Yes, I know it's important, but the only time he can ever sense he's nearby is when the group already knows he's nearby. He rubs his neck when the Mind Flayer's coming to the fucking mall. They knew that because Billy was outside, keeping them there. He rubs his neck when they're in the cabin, but they knew that because they A, saw him, and B, Nancy had already figured out that the Mind Flayer was on its way. It's just, he's used as kind of just like this siren that goes off when the people are already there, when the bad guy's already there. So it's just kind of an underwhelming role, and I really wish they would do more with his character, because I think he's a really good character. But man, when you have him be nothing but someone begging for Dungeons and Dragons, and only meaningful contributions become hey guys, next tingling, he's probably nearby. Oh, you already knew that? Well, now you know for sure. It's just, it's underwhelming, and it makes me upset that he is not a bigger component to the show or the important things that happen in the show. I do think that in season 4 or season 5, I don't know how many fucking seasons they're doing, but I do think he will be a huge part of the show. But for right now, I can't help but feel disappointed with how he's developing. And that's the last big complaint I have about season 3. Overall, season 3, I think, was the strongest. I also liked how it became a little bit more violent. I think that violence really added another level of, imposing, like an imposing aura around the Mind Flayer. It really showed how evil and how high the stakes were regarding this character. You knew he was bad. You knew he did a lot of crazy bad shit. And you definitely saw some violent, crazy shit in the other seasons. But in this one, it's downright, visceral. It's not afraid to be really violent or make some hard decisions with characters and stuff like that. And I really think that added a lot to making the villain that much more intense and more fun and satisfying in the conclusion. So overall, Stranger Things Season 3, I'd give a fat 90% to. And as a whole, I'd wrap Stranger Things as a show in 90% as well. I think it has just been consistently enjoyable, a very fun show start to finish. And the only actual low points in the show, I think, happened during Season 2. Season 3 was just nothing but a lot of fun with, a couple of missteps that I found here and there. But you may disagree with those as well. Either way, I think the show's fucking fantastic. That's it. See ya. Yeah, I know it's been a while since I, the almighty, undisputed lord of speedrunning, have dunked my dirty ass in the speedrunning bathtub, but I decided it's time to re-enter the crucible and claim a world record. Just like Golden Superman when he sat in the sun for 1,000 years gathering energy, that's what I've done on a much larger scale. So I'm coming back and I'm definitely getting a world record here. This is on a porn game called Game of Moans. If you follow the official podcast, you know that our friend Jackson made this game a couple months ago and put it out. Since then, it's been getting frequent updates, but the first version he published is this version, and in this build, there's a game-breaking bug, an STD, if you will, that allows you to beat the game way before you should be able to. So with an optimized route that I've calculated and put into practice here, I should be able to beat this game in under a minute, when normally it offers far more than a minute's worth of gameplay, unless you prematurely ejaculate from all the build-up and also all of the sex and porn. So let's go nuts to butts here. Time starts once I hit enter on my name, so let's begin now. Now I need to start by apologizing to all of you watching and Jesus Christ himself, because I am going to be skipping through all of the actual pussies, titties, and ass and penis. I know it's kind of a sin to miss that in a porn visual novel, but for the sake of the speedrun, it's got to be done. Now I'm coming up on my first skip here. Hopefully I can pull it off. Ooh, there we go. Got the hands of a fucking surgeon. What can happen there is you misclick on brand and click the door and it costs you a few milliseconds. Ooh, like I just did right there with Sir Roderick. Oh, fuck. Roderick is the eater of runs. The amount of times that he sidesteps my mouse, just jukes me out and makes me click the door behind him is immeasurable. That man just fucking obliterates great runs. I'd reset if I didn't have such a good brand skip. I can still get world record here. Could still get under a minute as long as I pull this off properly. As long as Roderick doesn't take me over his knee and spank me again with his penis. Coming up in the most technically difficult portion of this run. I have to make sure I get this rabbit on the first try. Come on, baby. Oh, perfect. That's expert marksmanship right there. All of those years of FPS gaming at the highest level are finally paying off. This is the speedrun to finally put me in the history books beside the hentai speedrunning greats like... Well, I'm sure there's a few people that speedrun hentai games besides me. Come on, baby. Oh, fuck, I just went the wrong way. Oh, shit, that's a time loss. That's alright. We're still making spectacular time. Come on, baby, come on. Give it to me. Bang. Time. A 123 is not bad. It's definitely world record, but I truly think I could have refined this and got it under a minute. Now, if any of you have played Game of Moans, you know this isn't the true ending, but I can't speedrun the true ending on YouTube, but I'll show you where it takes place. So you grab the panties, come down here with Sansa, you get a scene that ends with you seeing straight up pussy. You get the beef curtains, you get the whole meat of vagina. And I clearly can't speedrun that, so I decided to make it an any % route of just claiming some soiled panties. And I've set the world record, as expected, as I usually do when I set my mind to speedrunning a game. So, I'm fucking happy with that. Bang! I am now the world record holder for Game of Moans, and probably one of the very few porn game speedrunners out there. Last year, the world was plagued by what is potentially the worst film ever made. War of the Worlds starring Ice Cube. And what if I told you the producer of that abomination, that affront to God, just directed a new film for Amazon called Mercy? Well, I guess it's not for Amazon because it's in theaters right now. It's distributed by Amazon MGM. And now after experiencing the cinema that is the style of Timur Bekmambetov, I can tell you with confidence, this guy's got it. And by it, I mean terrible fucking movies to his name. Timur Bekmambetov, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he has been in the film industry for an extremely long time. I went through his IMDb on stream, and he has produced some bangers, like 9, or Wanted, like some classic films. He has been behind them for a long time. So at one point, he did have an eye for quality, but I guess over the last 10 years, he decided to close his eyes, because now we're getting shit like War of the Worlds, and now Mercy. I don't know what's changed or what's happened. What I will say, however, is that this film is a significant improvement to War of the Worlds. But then again, War of the Worlds can make even the Borderlands movie look like it's a fucking Nolan film, so it's not exactly like the highest praise, but truly Mercy is better than that. At the very least. I would even go as far as to say the first 30-ish minutes are genuinely pretty entertaining. It's a very simple concept. There's an AI judge, and Chris Pratt is now standing trial. He is a detective who actually helped kickstart this Mercy program, that's the name of it, where an AI will look at the immutable facts in order to pass judgment and execution on those who are guilty. It's the judge, jury, and executioner, and it is there to reduce crime, which has spiraled out of control. So now they have the Mercy program to keep people in line. And now Chris Pratt is in its clutches here for the murder of his wife. And he has 1 hour and 30 minutes to try and prove his innocence. Now, when I first watched the trailer, it actually looked like Chris Pratt didn't put any effort into it all, like he was just in a fugue state taking a paycheck. I will say, in the actual film here, he does try. And he does, I think, do a pretty solid job with this character who just found out his wife has been murdered, and now he's about to be executed for it because they have so much evidence that places him at the scene and places him as the killer. And now he's got to find a way to try and argue his case and compile new evidence and try and find who the actual killer is. In the trailer, I feel like they took his lowlights, like they actually just took his weakest moments from the film and used it as promotional material. Because again, in the actual film, he does a fine job, minus some really rough scenes at the end. The entire third act of this film is actually just extraordinarily silly. Anyway, though, this film is shot in similar fashion to War of the Worlds, where we are watching everything unfold through videos that are compiled through cell phone footage or security camera footage or drone footage. Very much like what they did in War of the Worlds, but it seems like the budget here was a little bit higher, so the CGI doesn't look like it's straight out of fucking GeoCities from the late 90s. So it definitely looks visually a bit better, but not by a ton. There are a few explosions here towards the end of the film that genuinely look like video game cutscenes. I don't know what's going on with the CGI here for these movies right now, but my god, some of the visuals were actually bad. But for the most part, it was much better than War of the Worlds. But anyway, if you have seen Chris Pratt's movies and ever thought he moves around too much, well, let me tell you something. He doesn't move an inch in this movie. He is strapped to a chair for the entire fucking thing, save for, the very end. We're going to be getting into spoilers here, because I have got to talk about some of the wackiness to this film. Now, like I said, the first 30 or so minutes were actually pretty solid. It was setting up an interesting mystery with a damn near insurmountable task of trying to prove that you weren't the killer despite all of this evidence from a near omniscient AI that has every single fact at their fingertips. And with the Mercy program, they give the accused access to literally God mode, where they can see, find, and hear everything. So anything that Chris wants, he can ask for,
and the AI judge will provide it so that way he can try and prove his innocence. And just like in War of the Worlds, the AI can do anything lickety-split. So anytime Chris says, hey, can you find this bathroom? I'm looking for a glory hole that I might have caught a glimpse of in this one frame on this one video that you got from a nearby walkie-talkie that ricocheted off a radio tower. It's like, oh yeah, I've already found it. It only took me 2 seconds. It's like, okay, whatever. But that's fine. I don't have a huge issue with that. It's like silly, but whatever. It moves things along and lets the investigation get steam. But there are just some moments where it's genuinely laughable, the capabilities of the AI, where Chris can just be like, hey, my neighbor's got a bird feeder cam. Can you go ahead and pull that up? As if that would, for some reason, be something that it'd be readily available and easy to access. But the AI judge is like, oh yeah, I've got it right here. Looks like the internet went out though, so it's going to take me a little while to rebuild the video archive. And it's like, okay. It takes her like 3 or 4 minutes or something. It's like, oh yeah, I think I heard a fart on this one piece of audio here from the murder scene. Can we reverse this fart here and find out whose butthole this was squeaked out of? And it's like, yeah, I've got that. And like, that's actually like a core part of things, not a fart in particular, but there is a photo that is torn in half, and Chris notices that there are 3 fingers from somebody that are in the photo. And Chris says, can you find out who those fingers belong to? And the AI is able to run the database of every single fucking person's fingers on the planet and somehow find an orphan that was a child in the photograph. And like, oh yeah, this is who it is. Which was a key piece of evidence, by the way. So like, it is a little over the top, but I also don't care that much because the whole thing is just kind of wacky in that way. But anyway, the film is very, 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 very predictable. I think anyone will watch this and know exactly who the real killer is. Because shocker, it's not Chris. I think you'll piece it together pretty much immediately. But then they start pulling out crazy ass pulls. Like, I mean the craziest ass pulls in the third act. But I don't even want to get to that yet. I want to talk about the journey even getting there. So, Chris has got a partner, Jack, who he really trusts. He's also got a AA sponsor, Rob, who he really trusts. So he's trying to utilize them to help prove his innocence. Jack becomes like the main one he communicates with. So he basically keeps sending her out in the field to try and like do this and that to try and compile more evidence for him. And she has like a hover bike. So she scoots around on the hover bike and holy shit does it look bad. Actually looks like YouTube skit quality anytime you see her on that hover bike flying around the city. I don't know what they were thinking. They should have just like had her teleport or something at that point because it is so fucking goofy when she is on that hover cycle. But anyway, so he's sending her on those like odd jobs to try and like interview people or try and like search crime scenes for certain things, this and that. And through this, we learn that his wife was privy to a scheme at her business where one of her workers was stealing product and maybe using it to distribute drugs, something like that, to make money on top of all this very shady dealings. He uncovers this big conspiracy, this big plot. I'm fast forwarding through a lot here, but trust me, it's very good. Chris also eventually admits to being an alcoholic, and he had a huge argument with his wife the day she was murdered, and also a whole year leading up to this murder. Their relationship had soured. There was even talk of a divorce. Chris was very aggressive, even like slamming a knife one time, grabbing stuff out of her hand. And on the day she was murdered, Chris went to work and then inexplicably drove back home, broke the Ring doorbell in a fit of rage because he found out his wife took away his secret booze stash in his car. So then he closes the door, goes in, they argue for 26 minutes. He leaves, his daughter comes home, finds that her mother has been murdered. And the last words from the mother, which is on body cam when they're asking, as she's like fading away, shedding the mortal coil, they're like, who did this? Who did this? She says, Chris, which is never addressed again. I want you to keep that in mind. That is never addressed again. When asked, as she is dying, who is responsible, she answers the question saying, Chris, and then she kicks the bucket. But Chris didn't kill her. It is proven that Chris didn't kill her. Why the fuck did she say it was Chris? Like, it seemed like she was just trying to get like one fucking slam dunk in on him before she died, before she met her maker, in order to make sure that Chris also, suffers at the end too. She knew it wasn't Chris that killed her. The person that stabbed her, murdered her, was not Chris. Why did she say it? What the fuck? Like, I tried to be like very charitable, like, oh, maybe she was about to try and say like, it wasn't Chris, but she didn't get the first part out, or she was trying to like, say, Chris, I love you, or something on the way out, but none of that comes up. It is actually never addressed again why she would say it was Chris when it just wasn't. That is crazy. I won't bore you too much with like the middle stuff and all that, but when we find out who the real killer is, we learn that the killer was one of her work associates, the one that was stealing the product to maybe distribute drugs, and decided to murder his wife Nicole because she found out, wasn't really willing to play ball, and also there's a very close personal connection to Chris from the real killer. The real killer was able to pull off this kill by going to Chris's barbecue 2 days prior to the murder and hiding in the basement for 2 days, and then sprung out and stabbed and killed his wife. Now, the close personal connection is that picture I mentioned. Well, that kid with the 3 fingers was actually the brother of the real killer, and that brother was someone Chris sentenced to the Mercy program where he was found guilty and wrongfully executed. And he never forgave Chris for it. So he got close to Chris for 2 years and then eventually killed his wife, built a bomb with all of the material he was stealing from their workplace, and was going to crash the bomb into the Mercy headquarters, killing Chris and the AI with him in order to prove his brother's innocence. And he framed Chris for this. That was his master plan. Now, I want you to really think hard here. He planned this for 2 years, but his plan boiled down to just getting extremely fucking lucky that Chris, when he went to work, decided to come back home that same day. Because if he didn't come home that day and argue with his wife, then this would have never fucking worked. He would have not gotten away with the murder initially. Like, Chris would have never even been a suspect. So his plan that he planned for 2 years boiled down to just something that he could have never possibly foreseen. And he didn't even know Chris left for work, by the way, while hiding in the basement. He just guessed lucky. So Chris went to work and then just happened to notice the booze wasn't there. So he went home, argued with his wife, and then broke a vase, which ended up cutting his wife and got a little bit of blood on Chris. And Chris was like, really distraught about it. And that's how all of this evidence led to like them knowing for sure Chris had to be the murderer. But actually it was all part of the real killer's master scheme, which again, none of this he planned for. He couldn't have planned for any of that to happen. He just got lucky. It wasn't a master plan, yet they keep pretending as though it was. Like, when I learned who the killer was and what the method was and everything, it was actually just like a laughable moment. And then the entire third act, he's got this big semi with a bomb in the back that he's gonna blow up the fucking city with like the Joker. And then the police are so incredibly inept, they can't stop him, they can't do anything. So he just keeps like hitting all the police officers, and it's like the worst CGI carnage where the officers' cars are like ramping off tow trucks and the officers are going, as they're like getting slammed by the truck. They can't stop this guy. They've got the drones out on him. And by the way, I was really expecting them to do an Amazon shout out when there's a scene where Jack is like, I'm gonna get the scouting drone out. I thought for sure she was gonna say like, I'm gonna get the Amazon drone out. It's really good for scouting too, not just delivering packages immediately to your doorstep with Amazon Prime. Like what we saw in War of the Worlds. I thought for sure we were going to see some Amazon plugs. Surprisingly, we did not. But anyway, they got the drones out and shit. They still can't fucking stop this guy when all he has is the semi-truck. And then he eventually makes it into the Mercy headquarters. Chris has already proven his innocence now. They clearly know it's Rob. They have him dead to rights now. He is the murderer. And he also kidnapped Chris's daughter and brought her there because he wants to ruin Chris's life just like he ruined his by killing his brother. Well, by having his brother go to Mercy, which ended up killing him. He then argues with the AI judge that his brother was innocent, which is where another shocking twist comes into play, where he's arguing about how his brother was innocent, and it turns out Chris's partner, Jack, was actually the one who didn't process the phone from that guy's brother in his murder case, because his brother was said to have murdered a woman. Turns out he didn't murder that woman, and the phone that would have proven his innocence had been thrown off the side of a bridge by Chris's partner because she wanted to ensure that the Mercy program was a success so they could stop crime together. So they just framed a completely random dude for the murder of this woman, which Chris and the AI judge reveal at the very end there. So it's another big, like, twist moment. I'm serious, the entire third act is actually, like,
very, very silly in like a fun, bad way. I probably don't need to yap any longer about it. It's not a good movie, but I will tell you, I had fun watching it. And I do think it is objectively a huge step up from War of the Worlds. So we're on an upward trajectory right now from this director-producer. So perhaps the next one's a fucking home run. Anyway, though, that's really about it. See ya. If I had the ability to beam a thought into a man's head right now, I would go directly to Randy Pitchford's noggin and try desperately to urge him to stop. This is a message directly to Randy. If you are not Randy Pitchford, disregard the following sentence. Put down your phone, I say as I shake him by the shoulders. Oh my god. I have clowned on this goofball for years. Randy Pitchford, I think, is one of the game industry clowns that is always able to somehow make himself look like a fool and damage the company he represents. And this has got to be the best example of it. Borderlands 4 came out, and it is genuinely better than Borderlands 3. Most people are happy with it. I am actually pleasantly surprised by it. I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan, but this one is definitely an upgrade. But it does have a problem. Performance. There are tons of reports from numerous players citing that their performance has been lackluster with a lot of problems. It is a widespread issue that's been reported many, many times. Personally, I haven't yet. I've crashed once, but that's just kind of to be expected with modern games at this point. I just kind of write it off. But I'm lucky in that regard. Not everybody is having as smooth of an experience. And instead of just doing like the very normal, very standard thing of just saying, hey, we see your complaints about performance, we're sorry, we're working on it, Randy instead goes on a fucking scorched earth tirade on Twitter looking like a damn imbecile. Like, he cannot help himself. He is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Everyone has been celebrating Borderlands 4 finally being good, and Randy Pitchford says, wait a minute, I can turn this into a bad thing, check this shit out. So I want to go over some tweets here, because this shit is unhinged. He had a layup. And when he went for the layup, he broke all of his fucking bones like Tom Segura. So he comes out the gates bearing the horns here. He's very combative off rip. Every PC gamer must accept the reality of the relationship between their hardware and what the software they are running is doing. He did get community noted, saying, the publisher of a game is responsible of providing accurate, recommended, and minimal specs since the consumer has absolutely no way to check how the game is going to run in the hardware before release. Which is true. Randy is attacking and villainizing people that are saying, like, the game doesn't run super smooth. Which is a really weird decision to do. He's just saying, like, listen, you guys with all your, like, cheap-ass hardware are trying to run our game and complaining that it's not running all that great on your dog shit rig. Like, that's on you. You're gonna have to take some responsibility here for being poor. Alright? You can't just point the finger at us. We can't cater to every single fucking device out there. That's on you guys, and it's time you take a hard look in the mirror. Not exactly what he's saying, but that's kind of the sentiment he expresses. Because he goes on like a long rant. The minimum and recommended specs are published. The most common hardware is a 4-year-old cell phone. Borderlands 4 is a premium game made for premium gamers. I'm just going to take a pause right there. Just even saying that sentence out loud put vomit in my throat. Wow. Borderlands 4 is a premium game for premium gamers. Oh my goodness. Jiminy Christmas, Randy. Holy shit. Imagine being this much of an insufferable loser that this thought not only crosses your head, but you actually have the gall to type and post it proudly. Oh my lord, to be a neuron in his brain fucking floating around in there. Wow. A premium game made for premium gamers. Listen, guys, this is a premium experience for only the real premium gamers. You know, the kind of guys to wear sunglasses and smoke a cigarette. They get pussy. Not like you non-premium gamers. This is not made for you. In fact, steer clear with that stench if you don't mind. Just as Borderlands 4 cannot run on a PlayStation 4, it cannot be expected to run on too old PC hardware. Unlike on PlayStation and Xbox, we cannot prevent a PC player with suboptimal hardware for the game to try and play it. So some try and get mad, and some have actual issues we need to fix, and some need to learn how their PCs work at the high end for this specific game in 2025 and use the tools available to them to find the right balance between frame rate, resolution, and graphics features.
This is not a game made to run on 10-year-old PCs. This game uses the full capabilities of modern bus, CPU, and GPU. If you're trying to drive a monster truck with a leaf blower's motor, you're going to be disappointed. If you discover your system can't run the game well by accident or wishful thinking and/or don't want to try to mess with settings to make things good enough for you, please use the refund feature on Steam rather than have a subpar experience. And don't let the door hit you on the way out, you not premium pile of dog shit. Have fun enjoying life with no one to love you, non-premium little swine you. Randy out here with the venom. Now he got dunked on for this pretty hardcore, because, shocker, it's not just people with old hardware that are reporting issues. It's people with even top-of-the-line equipment that are having performance problems with Borderlands 4. It is like an actual real notable issue. So people were quick to point this out, saying like, brother, I've got a rocket ship and I still can't run the monster truck here. It's not a problem on my hardware's end. And they're right. In most cases, well, I won't say in most cases because I don't know every case. In a lot of cases, it is not the person's equipment that is causing the issues. There clearly is something that is, with Borderlands 4 here, not optimized. And it is causing some issues for a lot of players. I don't know why Randy refuses to just accept that, being like, hey guys, look, looks like we do need to fix things. He even like tiptoes around a little bit of like almost taking some responsibility there, where he's like, there are some things we need to fix. You could have just stopped it there. You know, you didn't have to keep typing. Like there wasn't there wasn't any pressure to keep going and yapping. No one ordered the yappy meal here, Randy. You could have just stopped saying like, yeah, there's some things we need to fix. Like, I don't know why he comes out here and is like, everyone's trying to overclock their fucking TI-84 calculators where they're trying to play Borderlands 4 and blaming us. Randy's rage starts to bubble over and he gets very sassy with this one. Code your own engine and show us how it's done, please. We will be your customer when you pull it off. The people doing it now are clearly dumb and don't know what they're doing, and all the support and recommendations and code and architecture from the world's greatest hardware companies and tech companies working with the world's greatest real-time graphics engine coders don't know what you seem to know. /sarcasm. Legitimately, all Randy had to do was just be AFK. Like, if he just didn't have a Twitter account, Borderlands 4 would still be getting, glazed to high heavens here with, like, the little asterisks about performance issues. And that would be that. And I'm sure those performance issues will get fixed in due time. I'm pretty confident. But Randy, he felt like they were poking the bear, and he had to let the demon out. The bear came out of hibernation, so now Randy's baring his fangs on Twitter. He had the easiest assignment of do nothing and profit. And he just couldn't help but put his dick in his mouth. He just couldn't stop himself from doing it. Now he's looking like a real bumbling oaf. I don't know what he expected from this. Like, he's not even making good points either. He's just rambling and being a douchebag to people that, like, actually really like his games. Like, he's not even attacking people that aren't fans. Like, these are the actual avid consumers of Borderlands that he is now being combative with. And I'm only showing you a handful of tweets, but it's just a never-ending flood of nonsense from him. He is just driveling out all kinds of bile. I know a lot of you are dead set on playing at 4K with ultra max settings and using 2 or 3-year-old hardware. You do you, but Borderlands 4 and Unreal Engine 5 are doing a lot, and for me, that trade-off for frames isn't worth it. I play at 1440p with settings super high, and I'm super happy with that trade-off. The game looks amazing at 1440p. If you're not 4K stubborn and just want to have a great fun time with higher perf, please consider running at 1440p resolution. If you've got a beast of video card, you're probably fine at 4K, but if you're in the middle or close to min spec, I would definitely recommend making that trade. Again, Randy, it's not just people that are trying to run this game at significantly higher settings than their hardware will allow that are having performance issues here, man. He has deluded himself into thinking that the game is perfectly optimized, that is smooth for everybody, and anyone having issues, it's their own fault. When that is not the case. He is literally that meme of, you're all wrong. He's just so dislikable. I hate that I can hear this dweeb through the tone of his tweets. Like, I can already just see him slicking back his hair as he makes this one. Fun fact, customer service reports for Borderlands 4 at roughly 1% or so of installs. Using that simple rounded ratio, more than half of the tickets, approximately 55% of customers, are users reporting difficulty with their shift accounts, lost emails, access, etc. The next highest ticket is about FOV controls on console. Working on it. Next, 0.055% of customers are reporting issues with Twitch drops. And 0.04% of customers are PC performance related, with CS flagging 0.009% as valid, and 0.037% of experienced success with education settings coaching. That is less than 1% of 1%, 0.01% of customers using CS tickets for valid performance issues, which is less than 1/5 of the users using CS to get help with Twitch drops. So yeah, haters, put that in your pipe and smoke it. You just got served some facts by Randy Pitchford. You're welcome. Again, this is only like a few tweets out of what I think is like 20, 25-ish that he was ranting and raving for on Twitter. Fucking baffling, man. Again, I don't know how he does it. I know he loves magic tricks. He himself is quite the magic man. He is able to turn good press and praise into vitriol and trash. I am still just stunned that he walked this path. He had the easiest assignment ever. Just don't say anything. Like, if you are so compelled to want to make a statement, just say you hear the complaints and you're working on it. That's all. That's all you had to do. But he just couldn't refrain. He couldn't stop himself from looking like a imbecile. It's like he's addicted to tomatoes being thrown at him. He just loves the sensation. So he did this. And man, is it embarrassing. Randy, just stop. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.
If you pay close attention, you might have noticed that I'm not in my normal lair. The audio levels are getting wacky. What's going on here? So, it seems like the mic is a bit on the fritz here, so I got you with that Decepticon intro. I could edit it out, but I'm not gonna. Anyway, I just saw the big news. Little man going to the big house. Jack Doherty got arrested. You ever seen a grown man hit the hot dog? Yep. Jack Doherty in jail. Jack Doherty in jail. Barbecue chicken alert. Oh my God, what amazing news. So yeah, the astute observers out there, you noticed I'm not in my normal dungeon, my normal troglodyte cave-dwelling ways. I'm right now at a hotel. I said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood isn't my favorite film, so I've had to go into hiding. That audio solution I cooked up there wasn't a whole lot better, so I'm going to try this. I'm talking to you through here, but I'm looking at you through here. Isn't that incredible? The 21st century technology capabilities we have. Mind-boggling stuff. Anyway, I'm here in Orlando at the Vans Warped Tour. We're partnered with the Vans Warped Tour here at Cheeky, so we have a big booth set up. If you're here, feel free to come stop by, get some free soap, win some soap, or just go to usecheeky.com and buy yourself some soap. We got a solo leveling collab that just came out. Best soap in the universe. But anyway, I peeled myself away from the event so I could come in here into this nice, wonderful dojo and just yap about some great news I just found out about Jack Doherty going to the Slammer. It is incredible stuff. When I saw the headlines, it reminded me of that feeling I got when I first received a text from a girl inviting me to stay the night. Butterflies in my stomach and a little bit of cum in my pants. This is a great day. So let's go ahead and look at the arrest footage together, and then we'll dive a bit more into the spaghetti and the meatballs about what actually unfolded to lead to such a miraculous series of events.
What? No.
I got him. Hey, yo, you don't want to go neither. Back up. I'm just saying I got it. Back up. Don't worry about it. Back up. Yo, back up. Yo. Where you going? Chill.
Go to the sidewalk now. Go to the sidewalk now. You want to go with him?
You want to be fucking funny.
Go to the sidewalk now.
You want to be funny. You say you're on the street on the fucking street. I know who the fuck you think you are, bro.
I'm getting out.
No, you're fucking not.
He was trying.
After I fucking do this, who the fuck are you, bro?
I was trying to walk up the street for the
Doesn't matter, bro. All you had to do was get in the fucking sidewalk. That's it. And you want to be fucking funny. That's it, bro.
3JD. You're great.
He's trying to make a video. I really gotta do some goddamn content, man.
What? No.
If that doesn't put a smile on your face, nothing will. That would make even the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes seeing that arrest footage there. The officer repeating, "Who the fuck are you?" right to Jack Dorkey's little face there. I know that was soul-crushing. That was a dagger. That was a wooden stake through the vampire's heart, hearing the officer just bitch on him like that in the arrest footage. But yeah, anyway, Sack Dorkey here, 22, which, by the way, what a brutal existence being 22 years old and looking like that. Goober still looks like he puts his teeth under his pillow waiting for the tooth fairy to leave him a quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if this dude's asking for the coloring sheets at restaurants that he pays visits to. Even his mugshot. He looks like he's posing for the middle school yearbook or something. This guy just super sucks, and he literally looks like a baby man. It's gotta be awful. It's actually just gotta be truly terrible. But anyway, he was charged with possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and resisting an officer without violence, according to the online booking records. The charging records accused Doherty of possessing amphetamine as well. So it's all drug charges. I haven't passed the bar, so I don't know how serious all of this is. All I'm saying is I think we can pump these numbers up a little bit here, get some more charges on the books here. I think it requires a further investigation. There's a good chance he was transporting uranium-235 in his prison wallet. All I'm saying is we've got to take a peek. I definitely think there's some more charges we can find to slap on there for sure. Maybe there's some rumors of Jack Dorkey looking to steal the Declaration of Independence for some content. The Miami Beach Police Department remains steadfast in its commitment to maintain public safety and order throughout the city regardless of celebrity status, is what the agency said in response to all this. It's very cute that they say celebrity status because Jack is not a celebrity. He is a knuckle sandwich magnate. I guess he's very popular for eating fists, but he's not really a celebrity per se. He's just this public spittoon everyone likes to take turns spitting on. The department will continue to take proactive enforcement against action against behavior that endangers residents, visitors, or officers, and will hold all individuals accountable under the law. As for the series of fortunate events that led to this, apparently him and the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse were blocking traffic, but since Jack is the leader of the goof troop, he wanted to take things a bit further and flew a bit too close to the sun like Icarus here. Around 3:12 a.m. Saturday, Miami Beach police officers were conducting a high-visibility detail when a group of individuals entered the roadway from the east sidewalk into northbound lanes. A man from the group, identified as Doherty, separated from them and attempted to engage officers to create video content, positioning himself in the middle of the roadway with passing vehicular traffic and creating a significant safety hazard. I just can never understand. I can't wrap my noodle around Jack's persistence to try and present himself as a tough guy, where he's even going to puff his chest out at police officers and then hide behind his security. That's become his go-to strategy. That is his anime finishing move. He causes a ruckus and then hides behind his much larger men that are paid to protect him. The people that are paid to put up with him are the ones that he just tries to hide behind while slinging insults and just being a douchebag. And that did not fly here with the officers. So in an effort to clip farm here by I don't know, trying to be a big man on the officers and then hide behind his security guards, he ends up getting arrested and then charged with a lot of ancillary drug charges as well that they happen to found. So they began issuing multiple commands to get him off the roadway, but he kept refusing. Even his group was apparently urging him to comply, they were tugging on his nipples, Jack, come on, we gotta get back there, please. But he was just so fixated on trying to get just a crumb of attention out of all of this for his god-awful content. They continue warning him that he would be arrested if he continues. And his response was apparently, once I'm done with this bet, which is a fucking stupid bet in the first place, just go play in traffic. That bet is someone hoping that you'll get yourself killed. And Jack doesn't realize that. Miami Beach police safely apprehended him in the middle of the road, and due to his deliberate refusal to follow lawful orders and continue to obstruct traffic. They then searched his person, found half an orange oval-shaped pill with 3 imprints on it, consistent with Schedule 2 amphetamine, as well as a black plastic container holding 3 hand-rolled suspected cannabis cigarettes weighing approximately 4 grams combined. So they got him. That's enough to put him away there for a little bit. They posted his bond. I don't know if he's made bail or not yet. I'd always heard rumors that Jack actually doesn't have any money left, and since I haven't read anything about him being bailed out, maybe that's very true. Maybe all of his money goes into drugs and his security guards to hide behind. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that this is a feel-good story. This is one of those things that's gonna make you smile, and I think that's a wonderful thing. Jack, this might actually be the best thing he's ever done. They were saying that he was doing this as a joke or something earlier, but he's never made a good joke in his life until today. The closest thing he'd come to making me laugh in the past was when he crashed his McLaren, but this one was special. He had me giggling, so thank you, Jack. The only thing I wish is that you had waited for me to get home so I could properly make a video about this instead of having to just, come together and haphazardly throw some shit here to try and make something on it. If you don't mind, when you do get out of jail, Could you do it again, please? An encore performance and go back, so that way I can do it from my comfortable home setup instead of this. But anyway, thanks again, Miami Police Department, for arresting Jack Doherty. Great stuff. Excellent work, officers. And Jack, fuck you. Good stuff. Just wanted to share this with everyone. All right, I'm going back to the Vans Warped Tour. That's about it. See ya.